What is a full moon and what is a new moon on your model?
Probably like a magnetic cycle, and just like the center of a ferrocell cell image of a magnet.
I think it's probably like a magnetic cycle, just like the center of a ferrocell spiral. Image of a magnet, it's just black in the middle. It's actually pure inertia, not just a little. In the ferrocell image of a magnet, it actually goes into its inertial state, then charges back up. It becomes like etherically displaced. Yeah. You start to see it charge up once more, and it goes back like it did before. Once it becomes like etherically spaced, you see it charge up and take its place. Oh, shucks. Ain't that so? That's how moon phases work, fam. Pass the dresser. In the magnet's heart, centrifugal divergence flies, centripetal convergence pulls, defying all science. Etheric whispers sing, light and shadow blend, magnetic cycles spin, where physics seems to end. In the ferrocell image of a magnet, it actually goes into its inertial state, then charges back up. It becomes like etherically displaced. Yeehaw! Grab your partner, swing around, magnetic cycles up and down. Either song in the air, hillbilly science everywhere, cause it's like etherically displaced. Yeehaw! Yo, belly on up to the Witsit word salad buffet. Who has light vinaigrettes? Behind the Jugger Ranch.
Then charges back up, and once it becomes like etherically displaced again, you start to see it charge up throughout a cycle, and then it goes back.
Nobody can ever take anybody seriously that says something so incredibly stupid. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining. This is MCToon Live. I'm your host, MCToon, and tonight we are looking at a debate after show that was in itself a bit of a debate. I had not watched this until somebody who's in this after show messaged me and said he's an ex-Flerf, he's an escapee. Congratulations to him for escaping, and said it was pretty good. You should watch it. I watched it. It is pretty good. And so I will jump. I'll jump. Well, you don't need to hear him pat himself on the back or any of that kind of stuff. So we'll jump into the good stuff. And here we go. Oh, there's Dearth. There's Dearth at a church, right? That's what Dearth does at a church. He sells his app. Anyway, here is the video here. So this is the we got to start at 5 minutes. Right at 5 minutes is where we start about. So, yeah, he's got all these panel members on. So, here we go. Let's get right around 5 minutes. I have approximate time frames here. Not perfect.
Appreciate it. Super awesome.
Super awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It all came together, and I mean, I feel.
Yeah. Oh, you know what's funny is the Flatties go after him about wearing the Nike gear, right? He's got such a massive ego that he can't not wear, some name brand high end gear and stuff like that. And he's like, I just like it. It's just really nice to wear. Like, I don't care what he wears. I just think it's hilarious. Number one, that his ego is so huge that he's got to wear the high end gear, and it's always Nike he loves so much. Whatever. I don't care. But that they go after him for it. It's so funny. They also go after him for wearing the wireless earbuds that are clear. So if you look at him, you'll see in his ears he's got clear wireless earbuds, which again, perfectly fine. I prefer my, I don't know what this was, $15 maybe earbuds. I mean, they're fine. They're fine brand. They're a little more. They're Shure brand, Shure, right? They're a little more expensive. than 15, I think, maybe. But like, I have the volume as low as I can to hear it. Well, that's it. I don't need to hear. What am I doing? I'm just listening to idiots talk. How much detail do I need in their voice? I don't need all that inflection.
So, like, I was getting frustrated with the debate. Like, a lot didn't get covered, but it's all good.
Some good stuff did get covered, though. I thought the debate went well overall. It's going to be good to rewatch.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Nice.
And yeah,
what do you...
I've been hanging there. I've been hearing them out the whole time. Everyone is, I don't know. You at least touched on at the end.
For some reason, I don't think that Tony Coriolis' last name is actually Coriolis.
Kind of just half the people are weird. They're like, no, screw Austin and Jiren. Like, both of them. I don't know. I've never thought anything near that, but there's like a campaign, against you now. It's just weird.
It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. Anyway, I forgot. Make sure you have your tab.
So, yeah, it's been 6 months, but there's still something there lingering within the flat earth, or they try to call it culty. They're culty on both sides. But yeah, how much of his stuff have you seen, Austin? I mean, you seem pretty updated on it.
He's not watched. I don't think he's hardly watched any of Jiren's stuff at all. What is Austin going to say? I think having watched the debate, I'm pretty certain that Austin did not hardly watch any of what Jiren had done in the last 6 months. He didn't address any of it.
At least just judging on the debate.
Not much of it. Yeah, I watched some early on, and he was like going crazy hard at flat earthers, and he kept saying like, flat earthers are all of you, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like,
oh, well, flat earthers are mean and lie a lot and are wrong about things and say they know the earth is flat but have no evidence and they don't have a model and they can't do any predictions. Oh, he said mean things about flat earthers.
yikes, bro. And that's why I was actually very shocked to hear how
Tony Coriolis is not the escapee, but he's on there. You can see his name.
like he was saying some things that are actually inside jokes between the boys that Glover say. Like I thought you could think yours.
Oh yeah, Jiren's on the inside, guys. Just so you know, he's in. Like he's up on the secret NASA moon base with us. He's jumping on the trampoline with Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's all good.
Globe and not just be like full blown saying some of this stuff was pretty wild. So
Yeah, he
That's how I
discreetly said you used word salad today.
He did.
Dude, he said I'm just saying words.
Yeah, Austin does say word salad.
Yeah.
I was like, bring on the dressing. Hey, you know what? This one too. Okay, can I get this up here? Can we see it?
Yep.
Yeah.
The end of the upside down cosmos.
He's speaking.
All right, yeah. So the guy who wrote that derpy book is one of the speakers in the next day.
Yes. Highly recommend. I ran into him
Highly don't recommend.
in the Austin airport on my way out. He was flying back in after conference, and I had his book with me, and I had the flight attendant and the guy next to me on the plane ask me about the book too. So, like, definitely read. Carry stuff like that with you.
No, don't carry any of that stuff with you. They'll think you're crazy.
It's a great way to firm up conversations, and you don't have to prove something is to prove something is not.
Oh, but when you say something is, you need to prove that something is. So flat earthers, when you say Earth is flat, then you have to prove the Earth is flat. You don't just have to not understand the globe and then say, oh, that's it. I don't understand the globe, and here's a bunch of things I don't understand about it. Therefore, flat Earth. That's not how it works.
That was
Correct.
a big one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and falsification's independent replacement. And then Jiren tried to say I was doing that and like totally improperly applied it. And I'm like, no, but actually it's a good time to bring up that that's literally what you're doing, because you're telling me I need to replace all of the supposed answers you have from the globe.
Well, yeah, of course you do. But it's easy. It's easy to falsify flat Earth. The sun sets. Right? And flat earthers love to talk about the ancient cultures. Well, the ancient cultures, Aztecs, Mayans, Babylonians, Sumerians, ancient Hebrews, Greek, Roman, they thought that the sun went underneath the earth or through a portal or took a ride on a boat at night. They thought everybody had night at the same time. Flat earthers today don't think that. Obviously, that's not the case. So flat earthers today and the ancient flat earthers disagree massively on cosmology. They don't agree. It's not something that they could sit down and have a conversation about. It's hilarious how they do that. Anyway, the fact is that the sun could never set, right? They say it's above the flat all the time, 24 hours a day. You would always see it. I've seen flat earthers claim that the sun is 3,000 miles high. Well, if it's 3,000 miles high, then it would never get low in the sky. Right? From the southern tip of South America, the farthest down it would ever get is 10 degrees above the horizon. That's the lowest it would ever get. So there, it's falsified. The sun's angular size would change regularly throughout the day. The moon's angular size would change throughout the day. The phase of the moon that you see would be based on your location. Not everybody would see the same phase of the moon. Another flat earth falsification. Things would not be obstructed bottom up with increasing distance, yet they are. So you would not have reciprocal zenith angles summing more than 180 degrees. You would not have measured triangles summing more than 180 degrees. These are things that falsify flat earth. So we falsified flat earth. It's independent of replacement, Austin, as you've said. So I don't need to do any more than that to just falsify flat earth. Now, if you think that's wrong, if you disagree, well, then evidence would be what you need as your next step. But they don't do that. I got a super chat from Witsit Spitsit. Right there. For $5 says, we're not saying it is flat. We're just saying it isn't any other shape. So bam, the burden is on you, bro. Nailed it, Witspit. I love that. And while I'm at it, let me say Basil Problem says for $5, stream reminder that Will Duffy is a young earth creationist. That's true. And is a science denier. I think that he denies the science of the age of the earth. But the other science, I haven't seen other science that he's denied. Likely funded by the Discovery Institute. To my knowledge, he is not funded by anybody other than his own self, having been successful in finance. So, and then ZH Kane said Duffy isn't a glober. He is a glober. I don't know why you'd say that, ZH Kane. That's maybe you could clarify what you mean by that, because I can't fathom that. So anyway, Eric Burns says, I wonder if any of the Flerfs can debunk the image of the Eagle Nebula I'm taking at this instant with my personal telescope. I bet they can't. ZH Kane says Duffy did not evolve from monkey. Well, he thinks that. I think probably. So I don't know. But I don't understand the he's not a glober thing that you said. I'd love to get clarification on that. Anyway, while that clarification is being typed, let's go here.
And if I can, it somehow remains a globe. I'm like, bro, come on. By the way, for those, some people were just guess. If you don't, it would be ideal if you guys at least put like a first name or a nickname or something, so I can keep up with who is who. So if your name is guest in here, if you can just go click on the little dots and rename, that would be.
What if his name is guest? Right? Somebody, his parents maybe named him that. Jeez, he's, shaming this poor guy. Cool.
And I'm on an Android. I still can't figure out how to get my camera up. All it says for me is mute on the bottom left, and I click on that, it just mutes me. There's no thing for camera. I'm not sure what to do.
Right next to that should be your camera button.
Oh, I know one thing. This is a good time to give everyone the VIP
I just
telegram.
have mute and chat.
Can you hear me?
The VIP telegram.
Yeah.
I was going to say, a lot of the times with Androids, you have to give permissions like in your phone settings to be able to use the camera. That may be a problem.
That's probably it. Thank you.
Yeah, just Google it real quick and you'll be able to open it up.
All right. ZH Kane says, his beliefs go so far against the science norms that they're unaligned with the evidence-based globe movement. He's agreed with more flat Earth science than globe science. I don't think that's the case. I think he was in the stuff related to the shape of the Earth. He's been really strong. So I don't know. I don't know why, what things he agrees with flat earthers. He doesn't, I don't get that, but okay, that's fine. And yes, JT, Run Boston Mayor is truly one of the dumbest humans alive.
Thanks.
All right, I'm about to drop the, I was saying, I thought about this because you can maybe take a screenshot if you needed to, but I'm about to give you guys the link to the Telegram VIP, at the Summit VIPs. If you guys want to go in there, and it'll be a group. We'll add a bunch of stuff for the VIPs in there over time. So let me go.
Are you going to use that? What are you going to use for the monthly?
Oh, that's going to be a whole thing. It'll actually be on my website. It'll be ever fasting. Yep. So you go in there and you'll actually register.
Oh, speaking of his website, here's his website right here. You can register there. Look, you've got events, streams, everything. You can get it. To launch this return, we are offering, I don't know who we is, maybe he has a turd in his pocket. We're offering an exclusive one-time package that grants you access to everything, literally. Every summit, every private stream, all new content, and all upcoming releases. Things that he will mostly release on YouTube anyway. This is your chance to join the movement with full VIP access to the next 12 months. No restrictions, no limits, just total immersion in the world of Witsit Spitsit. What an absolute torture session that would be. Total immersion in the world of Witsit? What kind of massive ego? Holy crap is that ego? Look at that. It ends July 31st. Oh, darn. And so this website, so that's today's the 23rd. So it's all of a week from today, right? And his website is ready to go, right? I'm sure it's ready to go, but wait a second. Who's this on his website? Is this part of the we? No, that's not the turd in his pocket. That's Taylor. Hey there, I'm Taylor. I've always believed if you live right, then once is enough. As a licensed psychiatrist, I use my understanding of the human mind and my passion for living life to the fullest to empower others to step into who they really are. My courses will help you make the mind-body-soul connection to uncover the most authentic version of yourself. Amazing, Taylor. Amazing. And then after just 2 weeks of working with Taylor, I've made some massive shifts in my mindset and my daily routine. I'm hopeful for the new future I'm creating. Maisie Boucher. And here we've got a testimonial. This time last year, I was a frazzled mother of 2, just barely getting by. Thanks to Taylor's courses, I'm a happier, healthier person for myself and my family. Janelle Parks. Amazing. And here is Taylor. Wait a second. Wait. There's Taylor. Hold on a second. Is that the same Taylor? I don't know. Something's fishy, Taylor. Well, let's keep going here. Live your bliss. Resources for every stage of self-discovery. One-on-one coaching. Learn more. Online courses. Learn more. Private community. Learn more. It's just a link to Facebook. You can't quite see it off the bottom of the screen, but it's just a link to Facebook. But here it is. Oh, this is the coaching, not found. Here is courses, not found. Here is the link to Facebook is actually witsit.com/www.facebook.com. Oh, that didn't work. And then these pictures here. Well, turns out, everybody grab this here. Right here. Grab this quote. Right here. As a licensed psychiatrist, I'll grab it. I will put it in the chat for you. Right there. Take that, copy it, paste it into Google and see what you find. Let's see. Maybe that's not it. Hold on. Read my story. There it is. Here's this is the one. Never mind the one I pasted. This is the one. I'm Taylor. Most would describe me as a mother, wife, and small business owner, but in reality, I'm so much more than that. And so are you. This is the one. Take this right here. Take that one. That's the one to Google. We go to this page. We've got Chelsea Aaron Bold. You can't read that, but I'm Chelsea. Most would describe me as a mother, wife, and small business owner, but in reality, I'm so much more than that. And so are you. Wait a second. This is great. So Austin's website has this boilerplate. Jan Berry presents Meet Gene Berry. High vibe manifesting is within reach. There's Gene. Hi, Gene. Welcome, friend. I'm so glad you're here. Most would describe me as a mother, wife, and small business owner. Most would describe me as a mother, wife, and small business owner. Most would describe me as a mother, wife, and small business owner. And look at this right here. Witsit gets it. Look at that video. And Gene Berry. Look at that video. Witsit just grabbed some boilerplate for his webpage and did the minimal amount of customization. He did nothing. He's got the store. Well, what's on his store? Available products. Nothing. What about my library? Oh, you have to log in to see his library. Oh, no. He's got the About page, which, of course, goes to I'm Taylor. You've got the Contact page, which goes to, let's see where this goes. Let's Connect. So here you can connect with the back of Taylor's hat. So here it is. Austin, just a 1 week away from the deadline, his webpage has all this boilerplate on it from Taylor that other people, this is, I mean, it's embarrassing for Gene Berry as well, who didn't bother to customize her boilerplate. She left all this up here as well. Society may put us in boxes. Society may put us in boxes. Austin, you lazy bastard, you didn't do anything at your website. Anyway, this was in June. About more than a month ago. And yeah, he didn't update anything. Yeah, nothing. Oh my gosh. What is his webpage? Oh, well, it's witsitgetsit.com, everybody. Of course. There you go. Enjoy that, the website there.
Okay. But the VIPs will be free for the first month. So yeah.
It's been a month. So the VIPs that get free stuff for the first month have already gotten all of the free stuff that they've gotten, which to my count is nothing. He's not done anything in the last month except, to my knowledge, one time he went on Earth Awakening Discord for a wine session, which I reviewed last week if you want to go listen to him whining. No videos on his channel in the last... no, he did. He published the debate and then he reviewed the debate. So he did those two things in the last month, with, of course, everybody gets for free if you just go to YouTube. So maybe he's put stuff out that I don't know about. Well, what is AEC Radio? What is this stuff here? Anyway, so there you go. There you go. Enjoy that. Let's keep going here.
Yeah, I wanted to actually do that with this. I wanted people to register through there, but it was just a whole thing. It's kind of like a nightmare with Zoom. We wanted to make this one way better with Zoom events because you guys see the different, like you have the different sessions and you see in like it plays in the window when you leave.
Oh, by the way, thank you to Brenda for pointing out Witsit's website to me. Brenda sent that to me the other day, and I was laughing, and I thought all of you should enjoy laughing as well. And so thank you very much to Brenda.
Move around the event lobby and stuff. So anyway, I wanted to make it where everyone could just create one register one time, like email password on my website, and then they'd be able to go to the summit, they'd be able to go to this other group, but it just didn't work out. So anyway.
Maybe you should ask Dearth to do that. You know, he's super good at like security and stuff.
Long story short, that will be like a whole community that'll be on its separate website, and you'll create a login, and then I'll give the VIPs a month free after. Either I'll give you like a coupon or I'll send you like a specific one-use link or whatever it is.
What are you doing with the etheric state? I know my brother said he ordered a bundle and hasn't received it.
Okay, I'll have to check when I'll check the orders.
So that is the snake oil that he sells, which is a perfect time to read the super chat from Astrocate for $6.66 that says Witsit got arrested for domestic abuse. He sells snake oil that claims to cure cancer. He's an anti-Semite, racist, and sexist. He's wrong and gross. So yeah, Astrocate analyzed Witspit's whole thing. Wrote a hilarious ether aid thing. It's definitely a lot like Brondo. If you're a fan of Brondo, claims to cure cancer. That's right. So he's talking about this etheric state, whatever it is. You can order the snake oil from Austin, and then apparently he doesn't even ship it to you. So bonus. Let me read a little more here while I'm reading these things. We got Ramen Ortiz. All right, Ramen, he's a flatty, doesn't understand physics even a tiny bit, and he comes in with the funniest things. All right, here he comes. How can gravity stop gas from filling an infinite vacuum at altitude? We're weaker when it fails to stop gas from expanding in all directions at sea level. Oh, that's easy. That's easy. Mass, let's see, gases have mass, and mass is attracted to mass. And so we've got the large Earth, which is a large amount of mass. And that amount of mass causes at its surface 9.8 meters per second squared downward acceleration toward the center. That's the acceleration. You need to know the mass of something in order to figure out the force. So we can quote the acceleration. So you've got the gases at the surface that are accelerated downward at that rate, right? And you've got gases above it that are accelerated downward at tiny bit less than that rate. And then above that, a little bit more gas that's accelerated a tiny bit less, right? So that stacks up. So you've got this big vertical stacking. It's actually concentric spheres, if you wanted to kind of think of it that way, or concentric ellipsoids that are all getting attracted toward the surface of the Earth. So at the surface of the Earth, we have 14.7 psi, or 1 atmosphere, or whatever hectopascals. And that's the accumulation of all of the weight of the air above it. So if you get it would take some calculus to get the entirety of the weight of the entire stack above some particular area. Say you take a square inch, 14.7 psi. That's what we measure. And then if you were to do the calculus, you would find out, Ramen, that vertical stack of air, the volume of it, and the mass of it, and the diminishing gravitational acceleration due to gravity, would sum to 14.7 pounds over that square inch. So there you go. That's how it's done. It's definitely it's a college level physics problem, probably like a second year physics problem would be necessary to solve it, because it would involve some calculus. So, Ramen, I don't believe that you successfully completed middle school math and science, so that would be a bit above your ability to comprehend. But yeah. You're not tall enough to ride, as I like to say. Anyway, Ramen Ortiz says, sunsets horizontal horizon per the globe require curvature, yet both routinely occur in the flattest state in America per Florida. Oops. Well, the flatness of Florida, as is said, is not it's not actually flat in that manner. It's a lack of deviation from elevation. Now, how wide is Florida? This is what's, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love it. How wide is Florida? Right? How wide is Florida? So 361 miles there. Let me do this. How wide is it, like, kind of at the at its neck, where it's not very wide, right? So we got this measure distance from like across near where Orlando is. We get 120 miles maybe, right? So 120 miles. All right, hold on. So 120 miles. Let's round up. Let's round up to 140 miles. Okay? That's double 70. And in 70 miles, we get about 1 degree of curvature. So in 140 miles, we get about 2 degrees of curvature. So in 140 miles, a curvature of 2 degrees, well, that's not a whole lot of curvature, is it? So you would not see that very well if you were to, for example, to plot that on a computer screen and have the baseline curving all of 2 degrees over the entire width of the computer screen. It would be difficult to even see that amount of curvature. So, all right. I got better than that for you there, Simon. Not Simon. Ramen. I can give you exactly what you say you want there, what you think you want. There it is, right there. There is the curvature at 293,000 feet. Now, that is a lens that's not super wide, so you don't see a whole lot of it. So here is wider camera at lower elevation. This is at 46,000 feet. So there you go, Ramen. There's the curve. Now, flat earthers like to lie, and they're going to say, oh, it's fisheye. So, well, if it was fisheye, then you wouldn't see curvature the same direction, the same amount at the top of the frame, and you certainly wouldn't see it at the bottom of the frame. Uh-oh, Ramen. What do you say to that? Now, the only thing that you can say here, there's 2 things. You can do just lie and deny it, or you can lie and claim something else. Right? Now, here is where flat earthers show their third law of Flerf. The third law of Flerf is that they have dual standards of evidence. Right? Now, what was Ramen's standard of evidence when it came to his claim? He said, the flattest state in America per Florida. So did he look it up? Did he get any documentation for it? Did he compare it to WGS 84? No, he just read something somewhere that said it and therefore believed it. Okay. Now, if that's his standard of evidence, then he would look at this photo here and say, oh, well, there you go. He accepts it. Right. That's it. Thank you, Ramen, for accepting this. You will use this because your standard of evidence accepts it. You've already made that clear because of how your standard of evidence works. Anyway, Rubik says it might as well had been lorem ipsum dolor all over. You're right. I missed one up at the beginning here. We got corn dog sauce for a $5 super chat at 6:30 p.m. even before I started, long before I started. Thank you for that. Mars Science is a member at Newton. I was talking with Mars Science this week. Hello. Good to have you here. Monkey Cat Pat Pat says, are we about to watch Witsit cry again? Awesome. I'm down. This isn't so much whining and crying. as much as just not doing well in a debate with somebody that's in his after show. Rick Tubit says, can't stop laughing. Where's my inhaler? Well, that was about Witsit's website. Yes. The Taylor, I would like to see Witsit and Taylor. I mean, maybe there's a thing, huh? Maybe Witsit and this Taylor have got something going on. Let's see here. Let's get her. Where's it at? There you go. Austin. Hey, what about Taylor, huh? Or maybe it's this Taylor. I don't know. I think that's a different Taylor. I don't. What do you think? Is this Taylor and this Taylor a different Taylor? Are they different? Right. So this one here, these three look to be this Taylor to me. Same with, all these here at the bottom. But this one here, I don't know. Maybe it's just the hair flowing back. Maybe it's the smile. I don't know. I don't know. Max thinks he can fix her. Fugazi 500 thinks it's AI. So anyway, so there you go. There's Taylor. Go ahead, go. Hey, Austin, go for it. Just you're on the rebound or something. I don't know. Just go for it, buddy. You're good. All right. Did I catch up with I did not yet. I got Todd's Tech-Tail says he's planning to go to the ship's compass /website store the night before launch. That's right. That's the way to do it. Jim Daniels sent 10 memberships. Thank you so much for that. I like this. Says Wesley Grandlinard says you should hack the website and change Taylor to MCToon. I won't be doing that, but I would certainly laugh if anybody were to do something like that. Basil Prom says, MCToon Live, do you really think anybody stupid enough to be a flat earther is reachable beyond rational argument? I think generally no. That there's occasional flat earthers that do escape. They are. But you don't get to be a flat earther through rational thought. And I think that escaping flat earth is through rational thought. So I think what has to happen is they have to somehow exhaust all of their irrational thoughts and somehow say, fine, I'm going to be rational about things. So for example, Ramen Ortiz, if you're in here, when I show you this curving horizon here, what do you say? Right? Your super chat specifically mentioned a horizon that didn't match what this is right here. So what is your particular response to this? Right? Now don't lie. Don't say it's right. And I know the next lie. You cannot say, I already preempted the lie that you want to say about fisheye. Okay? I know the next lie that flat earthers tell about this. And I'm ready, Ramen. So, Brendan Crate says, I checked. Roger Ledwell has over $1,000 for Antarctica. Wow. He is 1/32nd of his way to paying just the ALE costs. Amazing. At this rate, he will get there by 2060. Amazing. Witsit Spitsit says, in my defense, the etheric state is diametrically compressed in a semi-plasmatic and inverse exponentially distended quantum dipole apparatus. So that's why he couldn't get the stuff out that people paid for. That's great. Anyway, all right. Brahman, are you still here? Brahman Ortiz? I don't know. Call Badger Dude says it would be interesting to download those Taylor photos and search for them on Shutterstock or iStock. Well, that's exactly what they are. That is a website that's just a stock website that he grabbed and put on there. And Austin did not put those images on there. Those images were put on there by the stock website creator. Same with the text. And as is common with people who use stock websites, they don't even change the stuff. The testimonials. You could probably find all of those testimonials on multiple other sites. So, Icy Spin says Roger Ledwell lies and he's watching. Hi, Roger. Hi, Roger. All right, here we go.
So he sent you an email at witsitgetsit@gmail.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tony, did you ever get your order?
No, I didn't yet. I just figure you're busy. But yeah, I'm in that same boat. I played
Oh, another person that paid and didn't get their stuff. Austin, shame on you.
an order like a month and a half ago or something.
What? The little fire bundles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
It
god,
happens.
that's so sorry.
And it's no big deal, but yeah.
Are those not out of stock?
No.
So the fire bundles, that's his Aether A. That's his Brondo. That's what he's talking about.
I have some here, but I thought that if you guys are saying you ordered, they have to be like gone now, right? But anyway, I'll send them. I'm saying that because if they're not out of stock yet, I feel bad. I'll try to throw an extra little one in there.
No rush at all. I figure if it's another month, I'll let you know. But
Yeah, I'll send them out. I'll send them out Monday.
all good.
Pagasi says, "Where's your Ozzy shirt?" I don't own an Ozzy shirt. I never saw Ozzy live. I wanted to. Last time he came through, 2017 maybe. It was in Minneapolis here. I didn't get a chance to go. It just didn't work out. Would have been fun. I did see Black Sabbath with Dio. But not, and they only played Dio songs. They didn't play any of the Ozzy era songs. So it wasn't at all like seeing Ozzy. So it's too bad. But I was joking today at work. We're talking about in 1992. He did his No More Tours tour. 33 years ago, he did his No More Tours tour and then kept touring for years and years. His last concert was July 5th this year, 17 days before he passed, something like that. And I think at that one, probably knew it wasn't going to be too long, but he had in 2024 had been talking about doing a tour, one more No More Tours #2 or something like that. I don't know, or #3.
Send it out right when he gets back from the next Antarctic excursion.
No, I'm not going back to Antarctica.
And are you gonna bring that over to Etheric Summit? Like, are you gonna run everything through ethericsummit.com?
No, this will be its own website. I mean, Etheric Summit website is built through the platform that I'm going to build my website. So I may connect them where if you log in at one place, it logs in other places. I don't know. It's like a lot.
Yeah, because I just went into the True Earther app the other day and reviewed all the past summits a little bit there. So
I need to figure out. Yeah, one thing I can do probably is get all of those and upload them on the site.
Okay.
But he won't.
But you'll have to register. So you'll have to create like an email and password on that site separate from Zoom. I tried so hard to avoid multiple registrations. And we did, but we had to do everything in Zoom. And I just didn't want it to be like a whole thing where people are registering twice and do they use the same email and then they aren't able to get in. I tried to simplify it. So
I say it worked pretty. I got my email 9:30 that morning and registered and logged in, said it was ready to go. So
all right. Jumping ahead a little bit here.
Thing.
In motion and
there's so much to it, I think. And you try to boil it down as without that, that's kind of just the whole, if you're evaluating everything stepping out, looking at the Duffy thing, he never takes it to that. He only wants to say it as that, and it's off of observations in the sky. Just good.
Well, obviously Tony Coriolis has not looked at any of Duffy's videos. The video so he just did a video on the equatorial mount, which is things in the sky. But the prior video was the one that Jesse Path of Light, Jesse, who was on here a couple weeks ago, gave me the idea to do. That was measuring the distance between lines of longitude. and we did that in Punta Arenas and in Chile. And that isn't looking at things in the sky. That's measuring the surface of the Earth. And it matched the globe completely. There is no flat earther that has ever presented anything even remotely. The only thing they do is run from that. Just run from that. That, you know, they make excuses like, well, how did you get the coordinates? From GPS satellites orbiting the globe. Well, that doesn't count. Well, why doesn't it not count? The position of that we get using a GPS is accurate, and it matches the position we use when we do celestial navigation. Oh, that's looking at things in the sky. Yep, and it's right. That's the thing. It's okay. We get to use it because it's correct. If you don't think it works, then you should never take an Uber or a Lyft. And Austin took an Uber or Lyft when he was in Punta Arenas. We walked from the hotel to ALE's offices. It was like 5 blocks. We walked there, used our feet. Austin took an Uber and was like I don't know, half an hour to an hour late. Like, we're all standing there, we're checking in. We bring our bags there to have them be weighed to put on the plane because they can only be a certain weight, right? And we're bringing them the day before, so they have them. So we're not bringing them the day of to put on the plane, and they're giving us our boarding passes. And he's not there. Everybody's there but one person. He took an Uber to get there, 5 blocks. Where was he? Anyway, he took an Uber while we were there, and it worked. Somehow the Uber got there. How did it get there? It worked. So you can whine and complain and make excuses all you want. But the fact is that the latitude-longitude system works. It accurately gets your position on the surface of the Earth every time it's tried. Every time. Every time. So what are you going to do? You got to use it. Or maybe you stop using it. Be honest. Don't ever use it again. Never use latitude, longitude. Yeah. Make sure that when you order something from Amazon, you tell them, don't deliver it. I'll get there myself to go pick it up. I guess you won't be able to use Amazon because they even, to get to the local center, they use GPS. Oh, wait a second. Where are you going to go to buy your stuff? You can't go to any store and buy stuff because all that stuff got to the store using the globe, using latitude, longitude. You're screwed now. What are you going to do? Anyway, of course they're screwed. They got nothing.
Conversation's going on. I liked it. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get how we move past Mickelson and Morley and Aries' failure and the measurements of the ether. Like,
no, but he didn't want that smoke, bro.
I would say,
what measurements of the ether?
I just went through Robert Bennett's presentation that when you had him on, and then also Alan had him on, and I went through there, and yeah, how are we not addressing these measurements of this ether?
They're not measurements.
Because we don't even have to implement the philosophical. What comes out about it with the philosophical? We can stick to the science because that's what we keep. That's what we want, right? Is the actual science of it.
The science? What?
Ether's not science.
The ether's not science, guy. That's according to who? Austin.
Ether is an immaterial background medium of pure potential. It cannot be quantified or measured intrinsically.
If you can't quantify it or measure it, it's not science.
Well, we have a measurement here that shows a stationary Earth with a moving ether. Yeah, we ignore.
You assumed ether exists with no evidence, talking to the guy that says ether cannot be measured and is not science.
Or
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't
know.
know.
Throw in relativity and give everything a special. I was in a conversation the other day, and it was Bob, the science guy, told me that we do not have to take into account anything in the Earth's atmosphere out to 1.25 million miles away from the Earth. So he said you throw all physics out 1.25 million miles away from the Earth, and that's.
I'm pretty sure that's not what he said.
How we do science. Bill, how are we? Yeah,
Man, if I was to piggyback off what Tony
Run Boston Bear, one of the dumbest humans alive. Give us your wisdom.
Coriolis was bringing, what good things has Flat Earth brought? Like Jiren.
Nothing. Nothing. You can't navigate on Flat Earth. You can't tell us what time the sun will set. You can't do anything with Flat Earth.
His perspective is that we're liars and we're just,
Yes.
we know his approach to it. But I distill my water now, and I attend conferences like Confluence, and I'm more in tune to.
Don't. Oh, he distills his water. Oh, jeez.
The biofield of the human body. I'm digging into so many topics and researching true health. And honestly,
and yeah, I'm sure none of that is actually.
I'm understanding how to connect with other human beings better, even human beings that I differ on. Let's say an atheist or an agnostic person that doesn't believe in Jesus at all. I don't have beef with that person at all. I don't feel threatened that they don't like that I follow Yeshua. And so I'm basically just saying I've come alive, and I'm awakening even more and even more and even more. And meeting people in person like Mark Gober and Steve Young, at Confluence was amazing with my whole family, just right next to me, and they're waking up too. So like, it's not some dumb.
Yeah, his family is, yeah. What happens to flat earthers? Their families bust up.
Oh, you're a dumb flat earther. That's not what it's about. What this is all about is the pursuit of truth. What is really going on here? What are we made up of? What actually makes us well versus sick? And what's the truth in all things? And that's an awesome endeavor to be on and in. And I'll land the plane here.
Don't trust a flat earther landing the plane.
Being inquisitive, being curious like a child is beautiful. Like, it's almost artistic how much I've woken up from my dumbed down, fluoridated, scared guy to now I'm not scared of death. I'm not scared of any people judging me. And I want to keep pursuing knowledge and wisdom and truth. So that's what Flat Earth is
But he hasn't found any of that
for me.
I say I can add that I've had conversations with my grandfather, and I got him to start wearing copper bracelets because we started talking.
Oh my gosh. I got him to wear copper bracelets. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Monkey Cat Pat Pat says, hello, Roger and others who are cherry picking this. Hi, everybody. Thank you for cherry picking this. DP Debunk says the GoFundMe goal for Roger's excellent adventure is set to $4,500. So he's only off by around a factor of 10. Flerf math rules. Yes. Well, he says that somebody else is going to fund whatever he doesn't make up. I don't know why, if you're going to have somebody fund whatever you don't make up, you just target the large amount. I don't get that. Fine. But I'll believe it when I see it. And I hope he goes. Roger Ledwell, I hope you go. It will be hilarious to watch you fumbling around like a moron, not having a clue what to do, like never having gone out of your mommy's house, right? The guy can't spell. He's a freaking adult and he spells like a child. He works at Walmart, right? This is his life. This is the pinnacle of his life. The pinnacle. The guy's like, he's a grunt at Walmart, right? Great. I'm glad people work at Walmart, but dude, you're not knocking it out of the park there, dude. Roger that says, here's my chip in toward Ledwell getting to Antarctica. Hope it helps. Yes, thank you very much. I'm sure it helps, Roger. Derek the Dullard says, morning, Mike. How are you? Witsit's voice and general demeanor makes my skin crawl. It does, but not Taylor's. Taylor, she's in for it. Basil Problem said, if MCToon, Flat Earth is a joke, the most important issue right now is the Trump administration dismantling science in the U.S. You should promulgate that. Well, I'm not going to. I think that dismantling science is a bad thing. Absolutely. And I think that funding for it should be kept and maybe increased. But that's not the topic I'm going to be covering. If you want somebody that covers that topic, I'm sure there's somebody out there. But it's not MCToon. It's not me. So if you want that topic, go watch that, whoever that is. And it's an important topic. But it's not here. So, no apologies for that. this, I cover what I cover. And that this is what I get. And you know this is what you're going to get here. So if you want something else, change the channel. Kango44 says, imagine how Run Boston Bear would feel if he actually learnt something. Oh my gosh. He does not want to learn anything. He's does not. He's seriously one of the dumbest humans on the planet. He's like, I done learned stuff
about grounding, and he had his yearly checkup with his physician, his family doctor, and he's in a small town, and he told her about it, and she asked him if he takes it off or what he does, and he says that he won't go a day without it because if he doesn't wear the copper bracelets, everything swells up and he can't move.
Wow, that's what amazing anecdotal evidence that is. Now look at this I don't get this Austin's you see that picture he has there? Let me really pull it in so we can see it. Does he have a mark on his forehead? Has he like crashed into something and he's got an injury on his forehead? I'm colorblind. Maybe I'm seeing something. Let's get closer. We need to know. For science, we need to know. There you go. What shape is that? Is that a dent? Is that an injury from when people were playing hacky sack with his head as he was a baby? I don't know, but man, he sure loves his glamour shots. He just can't get enough of trying to make himself look so cool. Austin, you're so cool looking. You're just like total bro coolness. So much bro. Like the bro is just overflowing with the awesome broness. It's just so pretentious. He's just such a pretentious douchewad. All right, I'm fixing. I mangled my screen here. I need to reset everything. There you go. All right. Sorry for so much forehead shot there. Brenda Great says he's a golf caddy. That's where you tee up the golf ball. He just put it on this forehead. He lays down. Oh my gosh. And Max says he has heterochromio in that picture. Smash Buttons says tell Witsit to visit Toronto in that Nike Tech. I dare him. Get his butt whipped. Wrote it. No last name says, man, I got an MLM these witless fools with some woo. Oh yeah, they're so gullible. It's amazing how gullible they are. Jack Fetter says that indent especially looks like a sphere. Oh, Jack Fetter, I got your email. Yeah, he was asking about some audio fixing. I'll answer it. I don't know if I can, or I don't know. I don't have much hope, but anyway, DP Debunks and Icy Spin or Ion were looking at it, and they ran into a wall. I'll just add you to that group. Kango44 says the effing dent in Twat's head explains a lot. Not that there is a lot of brains to damage. Yes.
So all
right, we're almost to the good stuff. This is just the warm up.
Religiously wears his copper bracelets now.
Well, that lighter's on.
That's so awesome. I see a guy named Guest with their hand up. I don't know who they are. If they want to unmute and maybe say something.
Yeah, can you hear me? This is Casey Walker.
I can hear you well. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, no, sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to change it where it says guest, so that's my apology. Yeah.
Flerf's in tech.
You guys might know my brother. One of you guys might know my brother, Toby Walker.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine being Toby Walker's brother? Oh, the torture. But this guy's just as dumb.
He's himself does coffee and stuff. I think you know Shane and some of those others, Shane and Alan. But anyhow, one question I have is: do you think that Jiren's angst towards the people who turned on him in frustration, maybe compelled or was an impetus to him turning so quickly? I found it very odd the way he just shifted so quickly within days. And it seems like a little soul searching would have been warranted, especially given how much thought he'd put into it and time and effort and emotional effort too. And then he just seemingly switched at the drop of a dime. It almost seemed like his frustration towards the community was part of it. And part of that frustration was obviously very warranted, but he just kind of just pushed that way so quickly. And it made me question a lot of things, I'll be honest, because it didn't seem natural.
Did you watch the show before, TFE?
I watch a few of his things. I've been following him for years, as I've been following Austin and many other people in the community.
So this is the really interesting thing. Jiren spent the better part of a year, maybe 6 months, deeply doing that exact thing. He did a whole bunch of investigation. He brought on every flat earther he could find that had an explanation for the 24-hour sun in Antarctica, in case it was seen. Right? He was very interested in everybody's explanation, so he invited people to come on. He had Joe Hanvey. He had that insane builder from New Zealand, Lindsay, who you can't understand a single thing he says. It's all just nonsense. He tried and he's like, before going to Antarctica, he's like, there is no explanation that any flat earther had for the 24-hour sun in Antarctica. He had pre-done his research. He did what flat earthers don't do normally. He did his research. And so it wasn't just a quick turnaround. He had spent months already working on it. And that's what everybody should have done. Everybody should have said, well, what if there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica? What if, when Lady Blunt wrote about it in the late 1800s and said, yes, there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Lady Blunt, a flat earther, when she said that, what if that was the case? What if for 125 years people have definitely known about the 24-hour sun in Antarctica? What then? But they didn't do it. They just went in saying, well, I hope it's not the case. Hope everybody, let's hope harder. Right? What excuses? Hey everybody, let's get some excuses together. That's all they got. So no, it wasn't an overnight thing. It wasn't an instant thing.
So yeah, I did watch. I'm not sure if it was the one the day before he left or days before he left. I don't know. I've watched so much of it. It's hard to tell you which one I've watched.
Because, yeah, that's what his rebuttal was. He was saying for 6 months before the final experiment, he was trying to convey the importance behind the 24-hour sun down there.
Right. And
he admitted in the debate. Like, I was going to say it, and that's when I said, I caught myself. I knew I was going to go on. In retrospect, I should have just kept going. That's what he was doing. You know, he was just like talking a while. But I should have just said, you know, what you just said was that you were like, okay, I'm going to say that this observation matches the globe more than flat earth if we go in there and see it. And I thought we're going to come back and like kind of be a team and I'll go to the whiteboard and get on Zoom meetings and figure it out. And instead I got attacked and and it's like,
certainly Austin was on the whiteboard and trying to figure these things out, wasn't he? No.
Okay, so why didn't you go to the board and get on Zoom meetings and try to figure it out, right? Like you're saying that you made a decision about the conclusion, right, based on the reaction of certain people in the community. And I also wanted to make this point to him, right, which is like, but like, it's not like we don't talk. I can still tell him this, but it's like, have you guys ever seen where someone will say, okay, close your eyes. Like everyone can do it right now. You just close your eyes. Like, okay, name everything in the room that's green. And if you keep your eyes closed, it's going to be kind of hard for you to name something. Like you might remember my water bottle. Like now, if you open your eyes and say, okay, now find stuff that's green, you'll start seeing stuff all over the place. Or even if you don't ask them to, right? If you say like, how much stuff in the room is red or whatever, and you tell them to open their eyes, all of a sudden, they're gonna in your mind, you're gonna.
I know you're like, I hope this is going somewhere. I know you're thinking that.
Think there really was nothing red, and you're gonna start seeing red everywhere. It's the same thing with cars. If you think about a specific make and model, you start seeing it everywhere that day, right? The thing is that our mind finds what it looks for and what it thinks about. He did that with the super negative toxic flat earthers.
That's what he did. And so that's all he saw. And so he kept seeing it, and then he just ended up.
Yeah, the veil was removed from his eyes. He saw that no flat earther could produce an explanation for the 24-hour sun in Antarctica, the 6 months before they went. And then when he comes back, he did not see any flat earthers going to the whiteboard and figuring it out. No flat earther did that. None. Jiren had already tried that. No flat earthers did that. Nobody was coming up to Jiren and said, hey, okay, let's pull out the whiteboard and do that. No, instead they're like, you're a shill, you're lying, it was fake, Fapegate. That was what happened. And Austin wasn't there saying, here's how it works. Run Boston Bear wasn't doing that. Alan and Shame weren't there. Nobody was there at the front lines where Austin thinks the true flat earthers should have been, saying, here's the whiteboard, here's how it works. Let's figure it out. Nobody was doing that.
Kind of like collectivizing flat earth, where I will tell you guys, like, it sucked. This sucked, bro. We were being slandered and attacked.
Oh, poor baby. You spent the last several years claiming that real scientists that do real work are liars. You lied about them, Austin. You attacked them. Now, you're just a little baby in the corner, and so they didn't hear that. But what you did is no worse than what they did to you. It's the exact same thing.
We're getting bombarded with emails and messages and DMs, and the trip itself sucked. You know, like it cost me lots of money I didn't have. So I understand.
What money? We've gone over this. What money did it cost him? Austin, what money did it cost you to go on the trip? Your flights were paid for. Your food was paid for. The trip to ALE was paid for. You asked for money to fly your mother-in-law to the house to watch the kids. You got that. You asked for money to pay for childcare while your mother-in-law was there for the time you were gone. You got that. You got paid for the transportation to the airport. You got all of your gear paid for. You got the backpack paid for. You got the bag that you put all of your luggage in, all of your stuff paid for. Mittens and gloves and boots and socks and long johns and long shirts and hats and goggles, all paid for. Every bit of that. And then this killed me. When you're like, oh, but I won't be able to earn money while I'm on the trip. So Will, you need to pay me cash for the missed opportunity to work while I'm on the trip. And Will paid for it. Unbelievably, Will paid for it. So Austin, I have no idea. Oh, yeah. Austin did not have a passport. He did not have a passport. He'd never gotten one before. And so he needed to get a passport. And he needed to get it quickly because he didn't go early. And so it had to be expedited. And so Will even paid for the expedited passport service. He paid for the passport and the expedited passport service. So what, Austin? I'm asking you, Austin, what costs you thousands of dollars out of your pocket to go on the trip? What was it? It couldn't have been the camera that you already had, the P900. You already had that. It couldn't have been the memory cards. You already had memory cards. It couldn't have been the Insta360. You already had the Insta360. What cost you money to go on the trip? That's what I want to know. Austin, you're a leech. 12th monkey, thank you very much. Perfect word. Austin, you're a leech. You didn't do anything there. You provided no value other than to be the idiot Flerf that we could say, yep, there's an idiot Flerf that went, and even after seeing the 24-hour sun is so dumb that he still thinks the earth is flat, even though he has no explanation for it. This falsifies flat earth, and he's too dumb to realize it. That's it. That's what you're here for. All right, now I see. Look. I see Dick Wayne. I see him here. Right there, right. And I see that he got timed out. I do not want to make him a moderator. But if he gets timed out for no reason, I'll just do that. So, anyway. So yeah, to say that Austin was luggage is very true. He was just luggage. He was there for just to be there.
Understand why Jiren was getting pissed. Like 100% understand it. I just think we handled it way differently. You know, I would never let my conclusion or what I thought about like the Earth and all these years of research trying to discover the truth. I would never allow.
He would never allow the conclusion to be driven by evidence.
How people's reactions to affect what that is. That makes no sense. And I just had to kind of step away. I had to like step away because it was just so bad. So he like went to battle with those people, right? And then he kind of like, I guess a lot of people caught strays. So that's like my take on that is like he saw it everywhere because he was thinking and focusing on
it. It was quite disgusting the way that people acted and conducted themselves. They still are conducting themselves in a bad way. Like I'm on TikTok having conversations and it's still getting brought up of, oh, what about the vape? What about this? Like, why don't you actually address actual issues and not this fake stuff that's always continuously to be assumed here?
Because that's what Austin taught them to do. This is what's glorious about it. That's what they were taught to do. Kango44 for 20 New Zealand or Kiwi bucks says Witsit slanders the very people that build the modern world he enjoys on a daily basis and publicly denies the science that fuels it. Witsit should go live in a cave and use all the flat earth science to get by. That's right. He can have copper bracelet. Oh no, he can't have a copper bracelet because that was modern science that did that. 12th Monkey says, did he ever publicly thank Will for all of that? He should be kissing Will's feet for that opportunity. I don't know. Yeah, he should. Wicked Pista says, can we take him out if we have a reason for Dick Wayne? Yeah, if you have a reason, but I don't think the thing is I haven't seen Dick Wayne do the kind of stuff that I thought should be blocked, but of course that's always there. So
and
dude, those are all like the TikTok flat earthers and like the YouTube short flat earthers where they saw something for under a minute. Like they're not the real truthers. They came across a couple 1 minute videos and are like, oh,
they're not the real truthers. Let me while they're talking, let me dig out my my card.
You know what? I saw a couple things. I think the Earth is flat. So Jiren using them as like to represent the entire flat Earth, yeah, that's a problem for sure. And then him being so upset about so many of those people being so loud, it's like it's just it's kind of dumb for him to do. But
it's the point I was originally.
Yeah. But the point I was originally trying to get to is, do you think he agrees with you, Austin?
Here it is. The No True Scotsman. They're not the real flat earthers. Who is the real flat earther? How did you determine who the real flat earthers are? Is it just people that think the earth is flat or the real flat earther? Or is it just your tiny little subset of flat earth that's the real flat earthers? Well, yes, it's just your little subsection of the cult.
That it isn't affirming the consequent fallacy?
No. I think he doesn't fully understand that because he tried to compare it to the Black Swan. So I think that maybe he does. I think he just doesn't place that much importance on it. And I don't know. It's confusing. I think I probably said it 20 times, right? So
yeah. And that's the whole debate he had with Z like a year ago when he first started talking about what the implications of a 24-hour sundown there were. Z had that conversation with him saying, dude, it's affirming the consequent fallacy. What are you doing?
It went Bro Sanchez interview and then Z, like right after or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So then Jiren never really accepted that premise and then kind of went, he's like, what he's saying is that he tried to make other flat maps and he knows it always comes back to be the AE map. And if it's the AE map, there's no possible way it can happen because of the fact that he never took the religious perspective that there could be a dome and there could be dome refraction, and that there could be a source sun beyond the dome that actually gives us the optical effects within inside.
Wait, dome refraction. So this guy talked about the biblical flat earthers, right? Because of course the biblical flat earthers are they're flat earthers because of religious position, right? Not because of evidence, right? At least they're honest. Now they generally are not honest about it. They generally don't go with a position that it is just a blind faith belief. They try to claim that it's real, right? They'll try to actually engage in the conversation. But if you thought if you really were truly a pure, it's a religious belief, you wouldn't need to talk about evidence ever. You never would talk about evidence. It would not be about evidence, right? A pure religious position is about rejecting evidence. That's the point of it. When it comes to the physical world, it's about claiming that the physical world is not right, that something else is happening, something supernatural is interacting with the physical world. That's the religious position. So they would never talk about it. So it would be this is right. We get to this. When you drill down, you get there, right? They get to, well, everything, all of the evidence for the shape of the earth says that it's a globe, but their blind faith still says it's flat, and that God is lying by making it look like a globe. That's what it comes down to. That's the religious flat earther position. So, let me read this. Siggy Sigwald says, is that dishonest piece of Witsit, Austin Witsit again? Yes, it is. It is again that disgusting piece of Witsit. General E. Shady says, 1 for smash dick, 2 for ignore dick. Debating. Yeah, that's the challenge. I like to see his derp in here. It's funny. Enjoy the funniness of it. And he said something to me a little bit ago here. He said, I don't quite think I understand your question. No, it wasn't. He said something to me. Dude, he tagged me even, I think. He's a douche. Anyway, missed it. Anyway, don't care. Don't care enough. Siggy Sigwald says, I swear, I thought I had died after that trip to Antarctica. I thought he had died. Witsit, yes. Well, I don't know exactly what happened, right? Obviously, well, if you saw what happened, so in March, his partner posted a video of him being abusive that she had surreptitiously caught on camera, unbeknownst to him, in their house, and she published it on a Discord server. And so that has been kicked around, and he called her a whore, and says that he effing hates her. So that was 2 or 3 days after he got back from Antarctica. So in the meantime, it's my from everything I understand, he is no longer with her, that she's in a different state with the kids. They don't, and so that's the current position. So that took, I'm sure, a bunch of time to happen. So in that time there, what else happened? Yeah, he didn't do a whole lot else online, which I thought when he kind of went silent, I'm like, well, good for him. He's leaving talking about flat earth, at least. Maybe he still believes it, but he's not going to talk about it anymore. So I didn't cover him. I didn't have, right? There's nothing to cover. And I'm like, well, if he goes away, he goes away. That's it. But now he's like, I'm back. Now he's done several videos where he's claimed he's back and then doesn't do more things. So who knows if he actually will. So, and that's why I was joking about Taylor could be his new squeeze, the boilerplate person from the website that he got. So, all right, do we got some dumb from Dick Wayne here? I don't want explanation. I want physics. I want to see gravity in nature. So do you want physics? You want physics. Okay, you don't see forces. Forces are not seen. So you don't see magnetism. You don't see the strong force. You don't see electromagnetism. You don't see, none of those are visible. You see the effects of it. Same with the wind. You don't see the wind. You see what the wind does. So you see gravity. You see things fall. You see things fall at a certain acceleration. That's seeing the effects of gravity. You see when you set up a torsion bar, horizontal so that you isolate out the downward acceleration, and so then it can move horizontally on a bar that's got a torsion wire on it. Okay, so that torsion wire will resist twisting. Okay, and so then when you do something, and even though it is resisting the twist, it twists against that resistance, there is a force happening. That's how we can see gravity in nature, right? We see the effect of it. And so that's been done many times. And so definitely gravity has been empirically confirmed using that method. You can look at them on my website at your leisure, mctoon.net/G. Easy to find. There's like 18 or 19 different empirical studies confirming the existence, not just the existence, but the magnitude of gravity, of the mass to mass acceleration. So denying that isn't woke. You're not awakened to truth if you deny that. You're awakened to truth if you accept it, because that is the truth. There is evidence for it. So he says Cavendish was stupid. Really? What was wrong about Cavendish? Now Cavendish, there's nothing at all wrong about Cavendish, the initial one. But you don't need to look at the initial one, Dick. Here is mctoon.net/G. So here is this one here is this is the it's not a torsion bar in this example here. It's the entire thing here that rotates. I think inside this is a vacuum chamber, and then these are the you can't see my cursor, but these are the test masses that they put in. So you don't deny, you don't refute evidence by just saying I don't like it. That's not how it works. If you think it was wrong, you have the burden the burden is on you, right? Let's get this here. So we've got two things happening here from Dick Wayne. Sorry about that. Two things happening. We've got personal incredulity. You don't believe it or understand it. Doesn't matter. That isn't a refutation. And then in order to refute the Cavendish experiment or Cavendish style torsion bar experiments, you have the burden of proof to show the flaw, or show how it's working, show what's causing that twist. That is, if you think it's not the mass, then it's on you. So I would recommend maybe you start with this one here, the BIPM measurement of the Newtonian constant of gravitation G from 2014. So in the 11 years since this was published, you can look up to see what other people have critiqued about this particular one, right? You can go and you can find these critiques. Not hard to find. You can see where you can go to scholar.google.com as one resource and find this on there, and then find any citations that reference it, and maybe you'll find one that has a critique of it. Find one that says, you know what, this wasn't done well. Go ahead. But I've gone the trouble here of all of these, even though they may be behind paywalls. I've got the PDF version of them for you, so you can go look at it yourself. So let's see. This one is particularly nice though, because well, let me just jump to the PDF. This one is particularly nice because they spend a lot of effort on what they call the error budget. And so here you go. Here's the setup. Dick Wayne. This isn't silly. This isn't funny. This isn't not serious. This is real science. This is how science is done. So yeah, you don't get to call what these people have done stupid. You've done nothing. Your nothing doesn't give you the right to call them stupid and do anything other than receive mockery and ridicule as a result. You need to actually do something. So anyway, so here you go. You've got the four source masses, letter A. You see where that is? And you've got, they're about 11 kilograms. B is one of the 4 test masses. And that's inside there. It's inside the apparatus. It's a smaller one. 1.2 kilograms. The torsion disc is about 30 centimeters in diameter. The central tower holding mirrors down the center, which is suspended on the torsion strip, is just visible as F. And one of the 3 mirror supports of the 6 times multiplying optics is G. The auto accumulator is, that's G. F is the mirror support. And then H is the carousel, the whole thing. Now, this is cool. The whole thing was, not the whole thing, sorry. The internal part of it was put into a chamber and the air was evacuated. You can see the dashed line around where the chamber is on this one. So this was to isolate from air movement. Very, very cool. And there you see B at the bottom is the test mass, A is the source mass, they call it. And so they change the position of masses A, and it causes a change in mass B's location. And if it's not done by mass attracting mass, then it's incumbent on you to provide how. And so they even do things like they specify that the torsion balance suspension is a copper 1.8% beryllium ribbon from which hangs a torsion disc. Okay, let's find the error budget here. The torsion strip, they go into length about that. This is how they had it made. The electrostatic torque transducer. Enjoy that one. They're measuring the twist using that, the test and source masses. Now this is pretty cool. They made both the source and test mass in the form of right circular cylinders from a copper 0.7% beryllium free machining alloy susceptible to manufacture in the workshop. They could make it in the workshop, resulting in small magnetic contamination from machining. This is cool. They wanted to make sure that they did not have magnetic contamination from machining, so they addressed it. Both test and source masses were made with their heights equal to their diameters. At the separation between them, about 107 millimeters, the magnitude of the gravitational field due to the source masses corresponds to about 90% of that due to a sphere of the same mass. So they made the shape in particular so that they could compute the amount of acceleration from it. So, all right, in section, they say see section 10. So section 10, this is cool. You're going to love this. Possible magnetic interaction between source and test masses. An experiment was carried out in which the torque was measured when the source masses were removed from the carousel by leaving only 3 5mm supporting balls in the V grooves below each mass. The resulting signal, which amounted to 65 parts per million of the total G signal with the source masses present, was consistent with expectations based solely on calculated gravitational interactions between the balls and conical holes in the carousel. So they're even measuring the gravitational attraction between the things and the apparatus. And I think they demagnetize it. They're talking here about the different ways that they dealt with things. And then here we go. I'm gonna find the error budget. This is my favorite part of it. You're gonna love addressing the. Oh yeah, and they use multiple methods to do it. They used the servo method, and they used a Cavendish method. Used 2 different methods to measure it. And all right, here it is. Values of uncertainty. So these are the different parts per million of uncertainty. And so I won't go over all of these, but they looked at the different amounts. Whether, how much their angle measurement was uncertain. 47 is a rather larger one. Voltage calibration, 12. Timing error, moment of inertia torsion disk. Net uncertainty on server value. Covariance of K, correlation coefficient, right? So all these, that's their error budget here. So let me say this. You don't get to say, Dick Wayne, you don't get to say, it's stupid, can we move on, to that kind of stuff. You have the burden of proof to show how it doesn't work, to show the error in the methodology. Okay? If you don't do that, it's unchallenged. Gravity is unchallenged. Mass-to-mass attraction is unchallenged. No flat earther will ever address this right here. They don't do that. They don't look at this and say, oh, well, here's what was wrong with it. Flat earthers don't go and do a better version of this experiment to find out how it could be wrong. They don't. They just say, nuh-uh. That's it. So, Dick Wayne, if your response is to not actually look at the evidence and actually engage in the topic, then you deserve to be mocked and ridiculed. You've earned it. If you don't like it, then stop being dishonest. It's your choice, right? But everybody in here, please, if he does not accept the evidence, do mock and ridicule him. Make sure he knows that he is being a horrible person for rejecting science like that for no reason. Okay? Anyway, that's an aside for Dick Wayne, because Dick Wayne likes to be a dick.
Or whatever, he never accepts that because he was never a Christian. So when I first heard the whole thing, to me, I saw Z's debate with him, or whatever you want to call it, and I'm like, oh shit, Z's right here. Like, damn, okay, I see what's going on. But then when the experiment actually happened and we saw that it existed, I'm like, okay, cool, it doesn't change my opinion. Like, Joe Hanvey created a proof of concept model that this could happen somehow. We don't know exactly, we're not able to perfect it, but proof of concept lies there. So of course the creator could make it work. So
there's no proof of concept. That was not a proof of concept. And then, oh, so the creator could make it work. And that is, hold on, I got it here. That's called special pleading. Let me get it a little bigger here. Special pleading. The creator could make it work. Why would you think that, given the choice between the explanation using the globe, that the distances and the angles work using the globe completely works, matches everything, to we got a proof of concept and the creator can make it work with no evidence? It's not a proof of concept. Joe Hanvey lied. Joe Hanvey tried to fool all of you people, and you gullible idiots bought it. He put a dome down and he put the camera outside the dome, and on the back wall of the dome, the sun moved around. And he said, oh, look, I can make the sun move around. That's what you see in Antarctica. Put the camera inside. It doesn't work. Oh my gosh, Dick Wayne. Dick Wayne, you deserve everything that you get. You deserve to be mocked and ridiculed, Dick Wayne. You are a horrible person. You are just a useless piece of trash human. Lying scum. Just useless. You are so dumb, Dick Wayne. This is you, right? I went over how gravity was the attraction, the mass-to-mass attraction was confirmed. And you're like, show how, define gravity. Simply, politely, if possible. No, you asshole. I did. Mass attracting mass. And I showed the empirical test that it works, that it does happen. You dick. I don't need to be polite. I was already polite. You asking for it again after being polite is impolite. You're an asshole. Don't you get that, Dick Wayne? Don't you understand that when you're done with this, do you pat yourself on the back? You should not. You should be embarrassed for yourself. You are humiliating yourself. I showed you the evidence, and your response is, can you define gravity? Yeah. I did. Mass attracting mass. Is that Einsteinian or Newtonian? In a reference frame, you can use both. But Newtonian is fine. Yeah, Newtonian is fine. But they both work out. Let me just one more. Because flat earthers love to parrot. Because flat earthers were instructed what to say by their flat earth masters on what when talking about gravity. They were instructed and blindly believed it. You're supposed to ask them, do you mean Einsteinian or Newtonian? The answer is both. So here it is. MCToon.net/Einstein right there. And Dick Wayne, if you weren't a dick, you could go here. Where's the center of mass of the oceans? Oh my gosh, you're stupid. Oh my gosh, how can you be that dumb? The center of the mass of the oceans, if you just wanted to take the oceans, would be the center of the distribution of the masses of the waters of the ocean. Wherever that is. Don't know, don't care, it doesn't matter. Because the oceans are fluid. And so they don't act as a solid. Right? If I have this card, it acts as a solid. Everything together acts as one unit. And so if you want, you can take the center of mass of the card and do computations on it. But you can't do that with fluids. My gosh, you're dumb. Anyway, here is links to it. You don't even need to look it up. I got it here. Einstein's field equations reduced to Newtonian gravity. So if you want, you can right here. Here's the book. Right? The first one, General Relativity, first edition, 1984, page 76. So here we can go. General Relativity, Roger Wald, page 76. And 76 of the publication. I think there you go, Newtonian limit. So there it is. So there you can go there, right? So when flat earthers pretend to be woke and like, oh, do you mean Newtonian or Einsteinian? You don't know the difference. But if you want to actually pretend like you know the difference, then go ahead. Work the field equations. This is it right here. Right there you go. Work through it. Right there. That shows that Einsteinian and Newtonian gravity equate within a reference frame that's not moving very fast in relation to the speed of light and is not near a large gravitational mass like a black hole or really close to the sun. Hawking and Ellis, 1973, page 71. So here it is, this one here, page 71. So I gave you not one, but four different citations, the field equations right here. So you can go through here. You can go through here and you can look at it right there. So it's both. And these other two I won't pull up, but Mr. Thorman Wheeler and Sean Carroll both have books on it. Right here and right here. So there you go. There you go. There you could actually learn if you wanted to learn and not be a dishonest piece of trash human. But I think you're going to continue being a dishonest piece of trash human. Jack Fetter says, so basically you definitely paid £235 to ship Witsit. $235 per pound to ship Witsit. Oh my gosh, I think he paid more than that. Siggy Sigwald says, hi everyone, I hope y'all are doing great. Thank you, Siggy. I'm doing great. Jack Vetter says, soak that in. Dick Wayne, who believes the earth is flat, called someone else stupid. Yes, Dick Wayne, you are stupid. You, seriously, Dick Wayne, get this in your head. I'm not being mean. I'm not calling you names. You are stupid. There exists people that are stupid. Dick Wayne, you are in that Venn diagram of stupid people. Siggy Sigwald for $10 says, this Dick guy is hilarious. Let's celebrate our society has advanced enough to even accommodate deniers of the same science that allows them to express their ideas, their stupid ideas. Yeah. That's what's amazing, Dick Wayne. You are using devices that people that are smart devised. And almost every single thing involved, the ability for you to communicate to everybody else here relies on knowledge of the shape of the earth. I'll say it that way. If people, underground cables, undersea cables, those cables need to apply the Haversine formula to figure out how far the cables are going to go between points. Needs the globe. The surveys that happened uses the globe. The GPS that the boats use to pull them uses the globe. Siggy Sigwald says 100,000 human generations to get to Dick is probably the most disappointing fact about evolution. Oh my gosh, that's true. Sorry, Dick. Can't even provide a simple definition and you want to brag. I did already. I already did, you asshole. I already provided a simple definition, you piece of filth human. I did already. Hey, everybody in chat, could you give the simple definition that I already gave to the asshole? Everybody just type it in there so that the asshole can see that I've already given the simple definition for gravity. Kango44 says, I really hate these effing idiots saying atheists believe in the globe. As a reminder, here is an interesting list. Yep. So this is a list of Christians in science and technology, which is a really serious one. All right, there you go. Dick Wayne, you dick. People heard it. Somehow you didn't? I don't need to be polite when everybody can quote what it is that I gave, and you reject that I gave it. You're an asshole, Dick. I'm being polite by only calling you an asshole. All right, here you go. A list of, I'll put it here in the chat. List of Christians inside. There's plenty of people that have a religious position, not just Christians, that are scientists. So here you go. Francis Bacon, one of the best last names ever. Francis Bacon. Galileo. Look at that. Kepler. Look at that. Pascal. One of my favorite programming languages and a fantastic scientist. Let's see. Boyle. We got Newton. Right? Well, that was some pretty serious names there in the foundations of science. Leibniz. Euler. Not Euler. Austin. It's not Euler. And then we got, let's see. Did it have, the 18th century did it have Bradley, because Bradley was one. He discovered the aberration. It's not listed here, but he was a reverend. He was a pastor. So Cauchy, oh man, we used Cauchy stuff all the time in engineering. Got tired of hearing Cauchy. There you go. It goes in, oh my goodness, this is a long list. Maxwell, Kelvin, Joule, Rayleigh, Pasteur. Like, it just goes and goes. Thompson, Marconi, Bourne. So anyway, yeah. So the history of the revolutions in science, of the people that found science, is littered with people of all walks of life, in religion and not religion, atheists and non-atheists. So there you go. Eddington, very devout guy. So there you go. Good point there. Kango. Is it Kango 44? Yep. Thank you for that. And it doesn't matter. We can figure out the universe without having the religious portion of it drive it. And you should not have your preconceptions, whatever they are, taint what you do when you're investigating science. Understandable says, wait, that makes me super curious. What kind of stuff does Cauchy do in engineering? I've asked engineers. They say they don't know Cauchy's integral formula. You're right. I don't remember any of it. I just remember Cauchy being spoken a lot. I studied electrical engineering, but I'm not a practicing electrical engineer. I don't know if practicing electrical engineers use it or not, or if it's just something you learn while you're learning the foundations of it. I don't know. Jiffy Cone says, not a bot. Suck that dick. Monkey Cat Pat Pat says, wait, Dick is being an ignorant dick? No way. Chris Hayes says, I'm drunk and I'm smarter than any flat earther. Yes. Toe Jam is smarter than flat earthers. Clem says, I wonder where these people would be if it weren't for the social safety nets the rest of us fought for. Well, that's absolutely. Yep. All right, I'm going to get the, oh, geez. Got a couple things in Discord here. I got that from Icy Spin, and then Angel Gamer sent there it is. Oh my goodness. And oh, you don't see it. Hold on. There you go. Down there at the bottom. Copyright 2025, business name, all rights reserved. It's on Witsit's website. He didn't. Oh my gosh. All right. Anyway. Oh, is Dick Wayne, did Dick Wayne see Marconi and then get stupider? Of course he got stupider. That's what he does. He's good at getting stupid. He's really stupid. Marconi basically discovered the ionosphere. The shape of the Earth is known, and so here's what your flat Earth, the flat Earth masters that instructed you what to believe. They didn't tell you this, that while Marconi could send a signal across the Atlantic, it was weather dependent. Time of day and weather affected it. Why is that? If the Earth were flat, it should be able to always go there, because it had to bounce off the ionosphere, and weather modifies the ionosphere. Time of day modifies the ionosphere. That's why. If it were flat, then it would always happen. Always happen. All right. I'm looking for, my goodness. Eric, if you want me to have something, you got to send me a DM, because I can't find it otherwise. So send me a DM. In the meantime, we've got, why can't that be what? What is going on? Icy spins. No, it wasn't icy spin. Who sent me the picture of? Oh, you took it down. All right. Well, why? All right. I won't show it. He asked me not to show it. There we go. Dick Wayne is being a dick. Yeah, he discovered the ionosphere. What you gotta, do you have any evidence to the contrary? Of course you don't. All you have is personal incredulity. Right here. This is such a common thing that somebody thought to put it on a card. This is critical thinking cards. Right? And this is a fallacy. Your fallacy is personal incredulity. So, and if you think that something other than the ionosphere is at play, then you have the burden of proof. So, all right. Eric has sent. Oh, very nice. Copy link. All right, here we go. And there it is. This Eric Burns took this tonight. While the live stream was going on, Eric Burns took this. Very nice. There it is. That's cool. And what telescope is that with? Your own personal telescope? He said. Is this one of the sea stars? All right. Kango44 says, so the other day I was hooked on a machine that uses centrifuges and the specific gravity of steam cells to separate them from the rest of your blood. I'm sure glad gravity is a thing. Dick, such a dick. Well, centrifugal acceleration is not gravity. Stem cells. Oh, stem cells, yeah. But it's a good point. It's a good point. Siggy Sigwald says, to be fair, some of them couldn't have been any other thing but Christians. That's true, because in certain locales, at certain times, the church was in charge of science. That's a very strange thing. Like, the church was leading the way in science for a while. And nowadays, the church is trying to stop science, is what it seems like. It's so weird. Dick Wayne says, yes, I have evidence. He sent a radio transmission over a predicted to be impossible amount. The ionosphere was the excuse science made up to save the space-time ball soar. Well, no, that's not evidence. You need to have evidence that the ionosphere could not have done it. Right? Because it completely matches the sphere, completely matches the globe. Right? But I can show that it's not flat because it relies on time of day and weather. If the Earth were flat, why would time of day affect it? If it's not bouncing off of the ionosphere, why would it stop? What's causing it to stop, Dick? That's the evidence you need. All you've done is you've said it's impossible on the globe, but it's not. When you actually do the analysis, it's possible for the signal to bounce off the ionosphere and get there. It's not impossible. This is how sad flat earthers are. Like, you didn't do any of that work. You're just parroting. You're just saying the things that you were told to believe. You are super easy to indoctrinate, Dick Wayne. Your flat earth masters instructed you what to believe, and you believed it. You just believed it because you're gullible. That's what you are. So, all right. Now we're just getting to the good stuff.
I'm good with it. The problem with me, the reason why I've gone back to the globe now, is because of the fact that
this is David Sanch right there.
ALE has flights that you can pay for that go from New Zealand in 4 hours to McMurdo. You get on a smaller plane, go to Mudson Scott, South Pole, takes another 4 hours, and then within another 4 hours on a small plane, you're at Union Glacier. You went over the entire flat Earth, is what we thought, within a 12-hour flight. And 8 of those hours are in small planes that aren't even going fast. So the final experiment is making an assumption that, hey, we're seeing the sun in the south. It might not be the real sun, the sun's apparent, right? Whatever. But if you go towards that sun in the south, where does it lead you? On a flat Earth, it's got to lead you to new lands, or it leads you to the firmament. If it leads you to the South Pole, and then, like Jiren's saying, with the whole 69 nautical miles and per degree, you get to the South Pole and you keep going, and you don't hit a firmament, you don't hit new lands, but you end up winding up back north, like we're talking about from New Zealand to South Pole to Union Glacier to Punta Arenas. You circumnavigated south and north. That's the proof we always needed. It's over then.
So there you go. There's David, former flat earther, who referenced flights that really exist. He said they're from ALE. ALE doesn't provide all of those flights. ALE will get you from Punta Arenas to Union Glacier, and then Union Glacier to the South Pole. And if you want to go from the South Pole to Amundsen Scott, I know that is Amundsen Scott, to McMurdo, then another company can do it. But these flights exist, right? So you can start in Australia or New Zealand typically to get to McMurdo, and then 1 hop to the South Pole, 2 hop to Union Glacier, 3 hop to Punta Arenas, or the other way around. Those exist in reality. They do exist in reality. How does that work on flat Earth? Right? How does it work? Oh, well, let's listen to Austin's response now.
Oh.
What happens when you're failing the science aspect of it, though? Like we're going all the way to make an observation of Antarctica, yet you're failing to provide the gravity experiment that even shows
you're navigating.
Yeah, he's deflected to a different topic, right? He wants to talk about gravity when he just talked about the surface of the Earth, right? Flat Earthers are like, well, you just talk about stuff in the sky. Okay, he just talked about the surface of the Earth. And what does a flat earther instantly do? Change the topic away from the thing that they said is the only thing that matters.
Like you need that force to make the globe, though.
Well, yeah. No, gravity must be true because you navigated the Earth, so you know the surface that you're on.
No. So you're saying circumnavigated the Earth isn't true. Like, so, I mean, I didn't hear the specific things that you're saying, but I've heard
Austin wasn't even listening.
Some people say, so what actually got me turned to the globe? And they start talking about this. So for one, like, they go in a little bit into Antarctica. Like, you understand where we went in Union Glacier was like not very far. Okay. Secondly,
it was very far. We were hundreds of miles from the coast. From the coast to where we were is about the same distance as from where we were to the South Pole over Antarctica. We were very far in.
Secondly, and this doesn't have to be the case, but I brought up the bipolar model, and then Jiren's like, "Oh, we know it doesn't work." He's just super dismissive, but it's just like he's making all these.
All right, what is the bipolar model he's talking about? Well, here it is. Here's the bipolar model. Austin's like, this could work. Really? Well, it does work to go straight across Antarctica, and Antarctica doesn't look ridiculous. At least, it actually looks about correct. But the problem is, nothing else freaking works. Nothing else works in this model. At all. Distances don't work. At all. Look at Australia. Look how mangled Australia is. Why is New Zealand over there? And if you fly from New Zealand to North America, good luck on that flight. How is that going to go? What if you right? And what if you fly, not the sun, Austin. What if you fly west from South America? Do you fall off the end now? Is there now water spilling over the end? This does not work. This is worse in every way possible. This is so much worse. Everything is so mangled. How do you fly from Japan to Hawaii? Because now Hawaii is farther north than California. It's farther from the equator than California. Look at over. It's hard to see over on the left side there. This one might show it a little better. No, that's not much better. How about this one? Austin's, yeah, this is a little better. Austin's like, yeah, this works. This makes sense. Totally good. This is so good. Here it is. Up on the upper left-hand corner is Hawaii. Look how stretched out Hawaii is. That's Hawaii there. Hawaii is now northwest of the west coast of the United States. It's farther north than Washington State. It's farther away from the equator than the entire state of Washington. How did that work, Austin? How did that work? Well, this is a bipolar model. It's like totally awesome or so good. It does not. How did Japan attack Pearl Harbor? Huh? Japan's over where? Look where Japan is. It's at like, what is that, 50? Like these angles are not representative. See these numbers around the perimeter? These angles are not actually mapping to, I don't think you can use them. Can you? 0? Oh, maybe you can. Maybe, no. Well, I don't know what they would be. Anyway, yeah. So what? It doesn't work. This isn't any better. This isn't better. I don't know what these. But yeah, good luck with that, Austin. Good luck with your bipolar model. Oh my gosh.
Super confident, definitive claims about everything in this topic now. Not one celestial observation that matches flat Earth. All of them match the globe. All these
That's
things.
right. That's
He's
right.
just doing that with everything and it just isn't true, right?
Oh, what things matched flat Earth?
But there are different variations of like a bipolar model. And, I'm not big on models and I know that maps are projections, so I don't really.
You have to be big on a model, though. You have to. You have the burden of proof.
Like make a habit of saying stuff about a specific one. But anyway, there is a flat projection that has Antarctica as a continent. And then you literally can come from one continent, go over Antarctica, come back up. And so when we've constantly been asking for circumnavigation, a couple years back, I started making a point to say it very specifically, which is that you're actually going to go to Antarctica, go towards the quote unquote pole, and then keep going straight and pop back up on the other side. But if I follow that flat Earth bipolar projection, this would answer many of the questions, right? And
ruins a bunch more. This is the fourth law of Flerf. Every attempt to explain something on flat Earth contradicts something else on flat Earth. And so when they bring up other maps, it makes it worse. This map, it doesn't help anything. This brings up more questions. Now you've got an edge, not an ice wall, with water spilling over it. You've got east to west circumnavigation does not work, right? Where with this one, they're like, east to west sort of works. Okay, I'll give you that it sort of works. But now this doesn't work. So you traded north-south navigation for east-west navigation. You need both. The globe has both. You don't have both. And then this one here, ridiculously, the sun will circle Antarctica. So it will be at the bottom. On December 25th, it will be, when it's midnight in the UK, it will be due south of Australia here, right on the bottom part of the map. How does that work? How is that? It's so far away from anybody in the north. So far away. How could they ever get the sun to rise? It won't rise. You're so far away. If you're like, the sun doesn't, you can't see the sun because it goes out of your perspective. It would never be in your perspective anywhere. Think about it. Like look at where Anchorage, Alaska is. Up on the top, a little bit to the left. You see Alaska sticking out on North America there? And how could Alaska get Anchorage How could it get daylight? It does get daylight in December. How could it get daylight? It couldn't. It's too far away. It's out of your perspective. Oh, so much trouble.
You just go, you loop over Antarctica a little bit and you're following your compass and you start going back up north and you're literally just going into a continent a little bit and going back up, whether it's bipolar or not. And on the bipolar, you could actually just go over it and keep following your compass and come back up. So even if you actually did.
Oh, no, you can't follow your compass, by the way, because what would happen to the compass here? That'd be a mess. I don't think it would work how you think it would work.
Which those flights, when I actually look at them, they don't go straight across the continent. They go a little bit interior and then pop back up. But even if they were to keep going, there are projections and ideas of the flat Earth where you actually have Antarctica as a continent. So it's like, and then when I bring it up, Jiren says it just immediately dismissed it, and I'm like, dude, this actually, I've heard someone break it down. I actually have a link to one of the models, and it's like pretty well thought out. And
No,
there's
it's
lots
not.
of stuff.
It's a
I'm
joke.
like, how crazy would that be? Everyone said there's a land of ice kind of out south, and everyone has thought, oh, that's Antarctica. It's a ring around us. And so now they're able to just use Antarctica for whatever to now pull the wool over all of our eyes. Left this whole deception. And this is my point. Like, even with you, I'm going to say something to you. I said to Jiren, so wait. You were convinced to go back to the globe because you think that there was circumnavigation or 24-hour sun.
Yeah.
And so in your mind,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, this singular thing proves the globe. And so now how do you reason all of the other evidences that you should have known if
What other evidences? None. How does this explain the distances between lines of longitude? You see, they're all mangled. Right? South America, maybe not so bad. Australia, absolutely a mess. All of the distances are wrong. None of that helps here.
you went away from the globe in the first place?
Well,
This is
I
what
think
I've been
the
telling
thing
Jiren that for 6 months. So it's like okay, I can only do it so fast. 6 months, no one has the interest in doing it. They're just moving over to the globe. They're not answering. That doesn't work like that. I have 57 falsifications of the globe, and then you're going to say that the sun did
I
something.
think they're just small anomalies, though, and I think anomalies are things that happen within true circumstances all the time. And if you're able to navigate an object, you can figure out what object you're on. So I mean, I know you mentioned that if Antarctica is a continent in the south, but it's not just that; it's the stars. So we're going to have a south celestial pole. So like you're saying, bipolar, you said, but where like they're going south and ending up north. So where's the firmament? Where's the firmament? Where are
All right,
the
look what you're
extra
doing.
lands?
This is exactly how a globe.
Where's the firmament? He's like, this is exactly like a glober. Of course, he's a glober now, right? He's asking reasonable questions that should have an answer for flat Earth and don't have an answer. And Austin is pissed because he knows he can't answer it and he has to deflect.
Glober debates, and this is what is so sad about it. What you did, you didn't address my point specifically, but then you responded with
What point? The point of your map that doesn't work?
4 different points. Red herrings. You said, well, where's the firmament at the end of it? Or you're asking me where the firmament is. You're like, well, it's not just that. It's also the stars.
You didn't answer where the firmament is.
And then where's the firmament? Well, let's engage with the point. The first point is, no, it's not actually going directly across Antarctica and continuing straight. If you actually look at it, it dips a little bit, barely into the interior, then it pops up north. So like, engage with that.
They'll go to Mudson Scott. They go to Mudson Scott.
You can engage with that point specifically. And then if you have
Austin just didn't want to talk about that. They go to the actual pole and they keep going. So that line that he described is very straight. Across this map, it's pretty straight across this map. Right? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because on this map, it completely doesn't work. On this map down here, nothing works. No distances work on this map. You don't win by putting this one up.
have Antarctica as a continent, right? Then, like I said, you follow your compass north and south. Well, like on the globe, it's not like you just go to the North Pole and draw straight lines. When you're actually following your compass, it doesn't say that at all. According to the globe, you're making drastic corrections. In fact, when you start to get out there, you have to make a 179-degree correction at one point. So my point is that if you're just following a compass, if you look at like a bipolar model, I'm not saying it's true, it's just one of many options, then you would just go over Antarctica and then go hit the continent following the compass. And then you could get like the bipolar rotation within a magnetic field, right? Which I'm not saying that is true. I'm saying it is like an option. And then so I want to say this one point. I brought up all the evidences.
He didn't bring up any evidences. He said there were evidences, but he didn't bring them up.
And then you said, so what you're saying is that you at one point thought the Earth was flat because of a bunch of anomalies? So like you thought the Earth was flat and turned away from the globe from what you now categorize as just a bunch of little anomalies that are easily explainable. This is the same thing Jaren's doing. There's no intellectual honesty there. That can't even make sense.
No, now I have to call them anomalies because we know where we live. But before it was the default position that it's a flat Earth.
So,
I agree. I agree completely that the default position is a flat Earth. So you would always say, "Hey, we see too far." Am I going to like believe in magical refraction, or am I going to believe that we just see too far because the Earth's flat? Like, obviously, yeah, no. You would believe Occam's razor. So the whole Occam's razor thing is that we're not spinning, and that we're not seeing that we're actually seeing what we're seeing. Not that there's all these magical refraction happening, right? So.
All right, so let's a little clarity on Occam's razor. Occam's razor, Austin. Well, he's gonna try to quote it here a little bit, but it's not what he thinks it is. Let me grab it here. Occam's razor. When we have two competing theories that make exactly the same predictions, the simpler one is the better. That's Occam's razor. All right. Now listen to Austin.
That's why I was a flat earther. But then when you circumnavigate the Earth, it's kind of over unless you could draw me. Unless you could draw me something where I could understand it betterly with two poles, where how I'm going south, I'm getting straight to Sigma Octantis, and then I keep going the same exact direction, and it becomes 89 degrees, 87, 86, and then, oh shit, I'm at McMurdo Station now. And I'm all the way over by New Zealand when I started in Punta Arenas and fucking Union Glacier.
Oh, yeah,
and
you just went a little bit into Antarctica and came up. And if Antarctica is a continent, you could do whatever you wanted to do on there. And that's why, again, the actual proof would be if you could ensure it and ensure that you're going straight, not that you're following a compass, not that you're following a compass.
Well, yeah, you're going straight at the Sigma Octantis.
Okay. See, now what you've done is you've made an entire fictional situation that didn't actually occur. So now you're pretending.
So these things did occur, of course.
Actually occur. So now.
And I've shown them before, but I can show them again. Hold on. There you go. The Transglobe Expedition. I'll send it to everybody here. So the Transglobe Expedition did go straight. That's the wrong one. We got to go to the Antarctic. So they have there it is. And it's so there's the route they took there. So now put that on the Dirt Pizza map. It's not going to work on the Dirt Pizza map. Like, oh, they didn't go straight. They had that. Oh, yeah. No, look, that's just a typical science denier. To have some sort of a ridiculously high thing. Like, why would it need to be perfectly straight? It does not need to be perfectly straight to be impossible on this. That route doesn't work on this. Now, it does work sort of a little bit, not really, but a little on the bipolar map, right? This one, but nothing else does. You solve one problem and create a dozen more. So, good luck with that. We got Wild Lee Coyote says Dick can't even provide a single equation how gravity works on flat Earth. Please provide one. Just one. Yeah. That's a really good one. Now, I've shown you, and I've politely, and then everybody else politely told you the simple explanation for gravity. The law of gravitational attraction is well understood, is well defined. F equals G M1 M2 over R squared. Right? So that tells us how much the magnitude of gravity. And if we don't know the mass of the object and we need the acceleration, we can solve for acceleration on the surface of the Earth. We have A equals G, mass of the Earth, over R squared. All right. And you know what that gives us? That gives us 9.8 meters per second squared on the surface of the Earth. Now, I can do that for the globe, for gravity, for the Earth with the mass that has been measured to have. Can you do anything like that for flat Earth? Of course you can't, Dick Wayne. You can't even come close. I have a $10,000 challenge. It's currently on pause, but if you want, Dick, I could fire it up again for you. $10,000. All you need to do is predict the downward acceleration better than the formula I just gave you. That's all you got to do. That's some real hard science there. But you can't use the mass. You can't use mass because you say mass doesn't attract mass. So you don't get to use mass, of course. Flat Earthers doing celestial navigation love to use the globe and be like, hey, it's using the globe. It's using flat Earth. They use the globe. So you don't get to use mass when you're rejecting mass to mass attraction, of course. But good luck. Good luck there, Dick. $10,000. You know what it costs to enter? Zero. Nothing. You don't need to pay anything to take a run for it. You can try for $10,000. You can try to humiliate me for free. And if you're like, oh, I don't need the $10,000. Okay, just do it for free then. Humiliate me for free by showing how the downward acceleration is predicted using whatever you think causes the downward acceleration, other than mass, of course. Can you? For $10,000? Of course you can't. That's what's great. I get to be here winning. I'm winning. When you can't do it, when you make up excuses, winning. Winning. I love winning. All right. Algorithm says some campsites can only be reached by boat. I can use gravity to know how much gear I can take without sinking my canoe. Gravity denialists have no equally useful alternative. Dick Wayne is lying. Mass attracting mass is not observable in nature. I understand that's what your claim is, and I also understand that I completely humiliated you and proved that you're a liar. I proved that you're a liar, Dick, by citing that, mctoon.net/G. I proved you're a liar. Proof. For you, proving that Dick Wayne's a liar. There you go. Siggy Sigwald says, I thought bipolar model was how Witsit's wife called him, like a term of endearment. Oh, I think she probably has some other names for him. I think there's some other names. Enoch Botang says, does Witsit Dimsit still use the window analogy to explain the southern movement of the stars? So when we were in Punta Arenas, he had some sort of a really bad explanation for it. About tunnels. It was really weird. Like, made no sense at all. Yep. Siggy Sigwald says, Witsit's so insecure he had to adopt a way of thinking about the world that allows him to feel superior. He's like a rationality incel. Oh, that's it. Oh, Dick Wayne says, where can I observe it naturally then? Should be easy. Yeah, in the experiment that I showed. I showed you where you could see it. Dick. Liquid Flames, Austin is so much worse than folks know. I've read his tweets. Flat Earth is the least of his issues. He's a fan of the mustache, for one. Oh, yeah. For sure. Real Cygnus says, are they allowed to use mass over volume equals acceleration direction? No, you can't use mass. That's the thing. You can't, if you're denying mass attracting mass, then you don't use mass in the replacement for gravity. And that makes sense. Everything is accelerated down at the surface of the Earth at 9.8 meters per second squared. There's no mass in that. 9.8 meters per second squared, no mass. It should be possible. They're like, it's pressure. Oh, if it's pressure, then then okay, 14.7 psi. How does that cause things to go down? And also weird, the measurements that people do are done in evacuated chambers where you don't have 14.7 psi. So pressure isn't going to help you because it's been isolated in the measurements. Is it electrical that's causing the 9.8 meters per second squared downward acceleration? Well, it's done in Faraday cages to get more precise, but you can do it not in a Faraday cage and you won't get quite the precision, but you still get 9.8 meters per second squared, not in a Faraday cage. So it's not electrical. Is it density disequilibrium? Well, once again, you can evacuate the chamber and you still get 9.8 meters per second squared. Good luck. Good luck. You know, physics isn't gonna let you cheat. You don't get to do that. Icy Spin says, quick question. Are sunburns evidence of the sun being physical? Asking for a dick. Well, probably in isolation. Like if you just look at sunburn, you say, well, you know, we got photons from the sun. We got photons from that thing in the sky. Is it evidence of physicality? No, I don't think so. The evidence of physicality is the fact that you get photons at all, not just sunburns. Because what produces photons? Things that are physical. That's what produces photons, right? In many instances, it's the changing of the electron in the shell. Right? In the sun, it's a bit different. That's what causes. That's the source of the photons. A physical thing. So do you need to know what the exact process is in order to pinpoint its location? No, you don't. You don't need it. Right? If I hold up a flashlight and you don't know if it's an incandescent bulb in it or if it's an LED bulb in it, can you still identify where that flashlight is? Yeah. Knowing what was generating the light had nothing to do with finding where it is. It's a crazy one. Siggy says, Dick, you can observe mass attracting mass in nature by simply walking to a ledge and taking a step forward. There you go. You can also see mass attracting mass in the orbit of Jupiter's moons. And here's the cool thing. By determining the distance of the radius of the orbits of the moons, which you could do on your own if you wanted, that distance, and determining the orbital period of those moons, right? Get those two pieces of information and you can determine the mass of Jupiter using A equals F M1 M2 over R squared, the law of gravitational attraction, and also centrifugal force. You can figure that out, and then you do it for multiple different moons of Jupiter, and you can tighten up your error bars. It's pretty cool. Somebody said just that was dark, Siggy. Yeah, it's okay. Dick has earned it. He's earned it. All right.
To know that what they did was got in a plane and they followed Sigma Octantis and kept going, and then they just kept going that way, and then they just continued the opposite way, and then that didn't happen. None of that happened.
That's how the Amundsen Scott base was found. Two separate people went towards Sigma Octantis from.
So not Sigma Octantis, they used the position of the sun, and they measured the sun's elevation at different times of day, and at its lowest point is where south is. And then when they got to where the elevation of the sun did not vary, right, throughout the day, it stayed approximately the same elevation. That's when they knew they were at the South Pole, because you can't see stars during the daytime in Antarctica, which is when people explore Antarctica. And Sigma Octantis is a rather dim star, so you need to have very little light pollution in order to see it at all. But the point is they used celestial navigation to figure out where they were.
2 separate locations of Antarctica and wound up in the same spot. That's how they found the base, the South Pole.
Now, what's Austin's response going to be for that?
It's right where Sigma Octantis is.
Okay.
So they're following the stars, and they're literally going straight to Sigma Octantis from 2 different directions. And it's like the bottom of the ball is converging, how a sphere should. And you're ending up in the same exact spot.
Yes. Okay.
And then if you keep going straight, you end up where the other guy came from.
This is what I'm saying. You just throw that conclusion in there. You keep going straight. How do they know they went straight? Because I've seen Antarctica as a continent on a flat Earth, and everything works perfectly fine. You have 2 literal bipolar rotations, and I've also
Everything works fine, except for all the things that don't work, like distances.
know that you can just dip over into Antarctica and go up. You just said that they keep going straight. Because I don't want to just turn this after show just into a debate with you, and it's cool, but I want you to actually engage with what I'm saying. Okay, you're going to go towards the South Pole, quote unquote, and you're going to keep going straight.
Polaris?
Like, dude, how did you know you're going straight? Like, if you went to, so were you saying when they kept going, they started looking over their shoulder to look at the star to make sure they're going straight away from it? Is that what they did?
Well, no, it would be in front of them.
Well, okay, and then they get to it. What do?
Straight above them, then keep going.
Okay, so you're saying then they keep going.
So yeah, you're not aiming at Sigma Octantis anymore. Yeah, I guess, yeah, you would aim at the star where the other guy just came from.
And that's not how it, and in reality, that's not what you said. That's how it was founded. Was that just some story? We don't
It's
do
a
that.
Duffy video. It's a Duffy video that he
I
put
just
out.
went
saying
there,
that.
bro. I know for a fact that no one traversed Antarctica looking at a star, dude. You would die in a heartbeat. That is such a laughable.
You would die in a heartbeat? But you wouldn't see the stars, Austin, other than the sun. You wouldn't die in a heartbeat.
Well, that is the most insane claim I've ever heard in my life. That someone went in all the way into the interior of Antarctica looking at a star, and both people did it from opposite sides and they met in the middle looking at us. That is not anywhere close to reality.
I mean, that's the claim of humanity. I don't know. I mean,
well, I just went there. That humans couldn't do that. Humans didn't do that. There's no way.
So human history. See, that's the thing with flat Earth that kind of sucks. Is it makes us start to believe so many other things that if they lie to us about the Earth, oh crap, what if giants are real? Oh crap, what if mountains are melted buildings?
Wait, you don't think giants were real?
Giants are real.
You think that? Did you ever think giants were real?
I think. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay, so because you think flat Earth isn't true, now giants aren't real. This is kind of similar to what Jiren's doing. You're got to start free falling.
Yeah, that's great. This is great stuff. Flat Earth brings you to believing in lots of incorrect things. And David has been escaping from these other incorrect things. Good for David.
In an infinite void of nothingness. And logic just goes completely out the window. And I know what you're going to say is because, oh, well, I realized if I could fall for flat Earth, then I must have a problem with my reasoning. I need to re-examine. What it actually is it feels embarrassing. The idea of you being wrong about flat Earth going to the globe feels embarrassing. So you're not going to do that again. And that's what Jiren's doing right now. He's like, oh, I'm not going to be the guy that's just wrong about something like that again. So that's why Jiren can't even straight up say that the Earth is stationary. He's like, well, you asked him about a movie. He's like, oh, it makes sense. Because he's not gonna have moved away towards the mainstream and then ever have to go through that again. So now we're talking about emotion, right?
Yeah, my position isn't from ego. My position is from I think the flat Earth. It's not all the proofs that we had for the flat Earth made so much more sense than the globe proofs. Like every globe proof they have, like Aristophanes, oh, it's perfect with a local sun, but they never told us that in school. Oh,
it doesn't work with a local sun though. That's just flat earthers lie, right? A single Eratosthenes measurement could work with a local sun, but not multiple. So measure it with multiple. You don't need to be named Eratosthenes and have lived thousands of years ago to go measure the angle to the sun. Anybody can do it any day of the year and determine the radius of the Earth. Anybody can do it any day of the year with somebody else at a different latitude and test whether or not the Earth could possibly be flat. You don't need any special day. though often it's done on the solstices or the equinoxes. But you can do it on any day because we know where the sun is between the tropics on every day of the year. We know where that is.
Oh, they told you if Columbus went west.
It stopped playing. What's going on? Weird. Ah. Two 10 times larger. They're not 10 times larger. But people made big doors because of whatever reason they made big doors for. Not because they were giants. My gosh. They're just so gullible. That's not hard evidence. That's the crappiest soft diarrhea ever. But there's dinosaur bones, and there aren't giant bones. Oh, it's not playing. Okay. It froze. All right, hold on. That's not it. There we go. All right. It's funny when people use their smartphones like Tony Coriolis is.
Want us to believe a lot of things, and they want us to not believe a lot of things. Absolutely. And we should question all of them. They also want us to believe that there's an invisible boogeyman that's going to jump out and nab us if we don't take pharmaceuticals.
Oh, you didn't even hear it. You didn't even hear. Oh, well, let me back it up.
So if you actually proving there's jump.
You just got a bunch of speculations that didn't answer my question. How could you did you ever think giants were real?
I think. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
All right. So Oss is going to complain about speculation. Oh, dude.
Okay, so because you think flat Earth isn't true, now giants aren't real. This is kind of similar to what Jaren's doing. You're got to start free falling in an infinite void of nothingness, and logic just goes completely out the window. And I know what you're going to say is because, oh well, I realize if I could fall for flat Earth, then I must have a problem with my reasoning. I need to re-examine. What it actually is it feels embarrassing. The idea of you being wrong about flat Earth going to the globe feels embarrassing. So you're not.
It is embarrassing to think the Earth is flat.
Going to do that again. And that's what Jaren's doing right now. He's like, oh, I'm not going to be the guy that's just wrong about something like that again. So that's why Jiren can't even straight up say that the Earth is stationary.
Why would he say that? It's not true. The Earth cannot be stationary. If the Earth was a globe and stationary, then instead of the Earth, think about it's the easiest one. The globe orbiting the sun, the Earth rotates once a day. That causes day and night, right? Just the rotation daily, and it creates a small amount of centrifugal force at the equator, 0.03 meters per second squared. This is empirically confirmed with the variation in the downward acceleration all over the surface of the Earth. Your height from your elevation from the center of the Earth, and the centrifugal acceleration due to Earth's daily rotation together matches the downward acceleration. So we know the centrifugal force is there, but let's pretend like we don't know that yet, right? Let's instead hypothesize Earth fixed, not moving, not rotating once a day. What causes the day-night cycle? The sun has to move all the way around the Earth every day. But in geocentrism, The sun is 93 million miles away, 150 million kilometers away. So now the sun, 150 million kilometers away, has to orbit the Earth once every day. What is the centrifugal force of that? It's enormously massive. So you need some force countering that to put it in balance. What is that force? None is provided. There is no force provided for that. Just, well, special pleading. That's all they got is special pleading. What causes the sun to stay in orbit around the Earth in geocentrism? Special pleading is it. Right? That's one thing. What causes the seasons? Right? So now you've got, right? I'm going to untip this, right? So now you've got the sun is up here at this angle. Let me you need to see the actual angle. So in June, the sun is at this angle here. Then, in March. Then in June, the sun is here, 93 million miles away. And then in December, it's here. So the sun has to vary its orbit around the Earth annually. There needs to be something causing its orbit to do that. What's causing that? Special pleading. Magic. That's it. There's no answer. Geocentrists' answer is to invent forces that do not exist, do not have any evidence for. So, yes, the Machian principle. Machian principle is what they say, which is basically the caulk that fixes everything. What causes the opposite attraction? Machian principle. What causes the sun or the other stars to even farther away to orbit the Earth every day? Machian principle. What about the positions and the paths of the planets? Machian principle. It's just whatever you need. You just say a couple words and poof, the special pleading fixes everything. Oh, look, Truth Warrior's here. How precious. Well, I had it up earlier. I actually closed it, but anyway. So just to be clear, Truth Warrior, you think that the surface of water is how we can determine what shape the Earth is? Just yes or no on that. Let me know what if you think that the shape, the surface of the water can tell us the shape of the Earth. Thank you in advance for that. Anyway, little more here. We're almost done with this part. He's like, well, you asked him about a movie. He's like, oh, it makes sense. Because he's not gonna have moved away towards the mainstream and then ever have to go through that again. So now we're talking about emotion, right?
Yeah, my position isn't from ego. My position is from I think the flat Earth. It's not all the proofs that we had for the flat Earth made so much more sense than the globe proofs. Like every globe proof they have, like Aristophanes, oh, it's perfect with the local sun, but they never told us that in school. Oh, they told you if Columbus went west.
Oh. It happened in the same spot. 3819, it stopped working. Interesting.
Thank you.
There's some glitch in the video there.
Bullshit globe proofs. So then when we got older and this whole flat earth thing came up and we started looking at the proofs of the globe legitimately, and we're like, wait a second, that's not a proof. Oh shit, that's not a proof either. That's not, oh, what's going on here? Oh crap, dude. The flat earth, all the explanations of flat earth make way more sense. So I think this was actually intentional to make people flat earthers. And then 5 years later, they came out with the big pandemic. And if you're a flat earther, dude, you're crazy. I'm not going to listen to you about the pandemic. It was a side.
So, all right, well, hopefully David can see that the misunderstanding of things is tied into that as well. And I think there's reasonable spots, or there's places that you can have on a whole variation that other than, oh, it was all to murder a bunch of people, which is what a whole bunch of people think it is, right? The self-proclaimed truthers think that what happened in 2020 was for some reason to get everybody to take take the medicine for some reason, and nobody can specify what it was. But there are no reasonable, positions I've heard from flat earthers on that, right? Like, nothing even comes into the reality. Like, this was funny. Why would the nameless, faceless they want to get everybody to take the medicine so that they could everybody that took it, when the only people that didn't take it are the woke ones? Why would the nameless, faceless they want to all the people that agree with them and leave all the people that don't agree with them? That's the opposite of what anybody would ever want to do. That's dumb. That's so dumb. And obviously, it didn't happen. Global population has gone up. All of the people that were supposed to have gone away haven't gone away. None of that happened. I mean, egg on their face, right? Egg on their face, and so they're grasping at straws, like, oh well, the medicine, there's something that had some harmful effects. I don't know if there was or wasn't. I didn't look at those things, but that's not what you said it was going to be. The doom and gloom claims that the anti-medicine people had back in 2021, none of that happened. None of it happened. Where did all these things go? If you make a bad prediction, if you're like, this is what's going to happen, and it doesn't happen, then you're wrong. Your ability to make to analyze things and make critical thinking decisions based on it is flawed, obviously. Okay, Siggy says, just read it aloud for me, Toon. Dick es un boludo. I'll explain later. Mark Von Wisco says, the pandemic was an IQ test. Most flurfers failed the test. Yes. But let me say that I think there's still a spectrum of stuff on that topic, right? Because there's people on the far other side that are like, if you don't get the medicine, you will, right? There were people that were of that, pushing that. And obviously that didn't happen because many people didn't take that and are fine today. There are people that said, if you do take the medicine, you will not get sick. Well, that didn't happen. I only know 2 people that did not get sick, that did not get it. I only know 2. One took the medicine, one did not take the medicine. But everybody else that I know eventually got it. Everybody. And I know people that took the medicine and people didn't take it. Right? So Was it less severe for the people that took it? I don't know. Was that quantified? Maybe it was. Maybe there's a studies I haven't seen. But like the far extreme on both sides turned out to not be right. Okay. I think the people that wanted to take it. I think the people that were like, no, never gonna, then fine. I think everybody should have an opportunity to choose what they do or not. But be responsible too, right? Don't trash other people while you're doing it. Anyway, there's one of my favorite bands is Extreme. And one of the things they do, it's in their name, is they take in their lyrics, they take things and they go to the extreme and they examine what would happen with the extreme. And we saw that. We certainly saw that in 2020, 2021. People in both extremes, super loud, that turned out to not be right. So, All right. Siggy says, I bet soft diarrhea was another of Witsit's nicknames. Yeah, it's on the back of his football jersey. King of 44 says, Giants, the Easter Bunny, Father Christmas, Bigfoot, the Tooth Fairy, all real. Yeah. Liquid Flame says, there's no question that the medicine worked and helped quell the pandemic, but the administration at the time was very confusing with their messaging, which didn't help things. Yes. I agree. And I don't know one person that passed away. Right? People did, but I don't know any. So when I look back at February, March of 2020, like as we're heading into it, I'm like, oh, we're going to go into this. And then after this, X percent of people that we know will be gone. 0 is that number. X equals 0 for me. For other people, certainly X is larger than 0. And got a friend that's a nurse, was in the ward where people did that, right? And so she saw lots of it. But I didn't know any of those people. So, and algorithm, yeah, Flat Earth Fokker. Turns out, I thought it was. It was not. It was the drugs he took. It was that drug that a lot of people die from. So, Friezo Gorder says one of the nicest things about modern medicine is the drastic reduction in tombstones featuring dates indicating children. Yeah. Siki said you just called Dick an asshole in Rio Platenese. Okay. I know a few that died, but what happened is the sickness made them weak and they caught RSV. Yes, and so the side effects are serious too, right? People have had lasting side effects. There you go. Liquid Flames lost 3. So I'm not saying that people didn't lose, right? I definitely, but I didn't know any. So my expectation, my going into it was different than, which was painted by events, right? Pictures and video of things happening in China and charts showing numbers. And then like, that's not what happened. Well, good. I'm really happy that that's not what happened. But it was different than my expectation. So I don't know if that was your expectation either. No young, healthy people though. I know a bunch of people who caught it and got over like a regular flu. Yeah. So. Oh yeah. Diana Cohen, physics girl. Absolutely. She's just now beginning to walk again after all this time. Serious stuff. absolutely. So I'm not diminishing that. I'm saying that that's real stuff. And I'm glad that I'm so glad that my personal expectation of it did not happen. So, no, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. No, Jack Better. But I want people to be able to make decisions too. And so the people, even though I think, especially the ones that are just blanket anti-vax, that's dumb. Like, you don't need to get whooping cough or measles. How stupid is that? AEC Radio says the vaccine was the... Yeah. I think you're joking. I hope you're joking. Anyway, I don't want this to get... This topic is still pretty taboo on YouTube, so I'm not gonna go there anymore. Larry Scott says COPE, COPE, constant objections to polar evidence. Oh yeah. I love watching them. I you know, when they go after Witsit, he taught them how. King of 44 says, why doesn't the sun come out at night? I wonder if scientists will ever figure it out. I know, someday. I need to get his.
I'm a scammer.
I need to get him saying that in this collection here.
The Earth is a ball, right?
Right. Ben Carson. Oh, is he? Yeah, was he the? One of the big names, wasn't he? Yeah, I'm certainly. And it was, you know, funny in a very dark way. How about ironic? The people that did like deny it, and then, yeah, and then even worse, people like, I don't need it. I have a immune system. Like, really, go take your immune system and you know, catch yourself a case of, I don't know, smallpox, right? Go ahead. You have an immune system, right? Oh, wait, tell you what, that's child's play. Go get yourself a case of polio and then tell us all about your immune system. Okay, go do that. Go do that. Did Truth Warrior answer? Does the surface of water inform us of the shape of the earth? I don't know if he or she or whatever. I don't see anything. I don't see Truth Warrior, the warrior who's warring against truth. I don't see him there. Kango 44 says, since the pandemic, I can't get waked up remotely by Bill Gates. Thanks, nanobots. Clems says, I feel like people turned into zombies, people would take it more seriously, but microscopic stuff, people just feel like they can flex their muscles at it. Yeah. Felix later says, my dad had polio. Yeah. A guy I used to work with, he's retired now, but he had polio. Right, he had a limp walking around, like, yeah. All right. I think there's not a whole lot left of David here, kind of telling Witsit what's what.
Yeah, you just got a bunch of speculations that didn't answer my question. How could you logically somehow know giants aren't true because of the globe?
Because
someone
else
wants to say
giants would be something. They would, like, I think the Smithsonian, how we say, oh, they're covering up the giants. I think actually that the elites might like place like fossils that are fake or whatever, like crazy shit, and then like ignore it on purpose to get the people who are conspiracy theorists to run with it, just like flat Earth, like flat Earth, and then just make everyone make you crazier.
Your answer is you just have a theory. The answer is you just have a theory of what might be going on, and so.
Austin, all you have is theories about what might be going on.
So it's all good. That's not why I think about there are giants. It's because of all the evidence that there are giants.
Oh my gosh. All of the nothing evidence.
It's because all of the people that documented they found giant bones.
All of the people that documented that found giant bones. Seriously, where is this documentation of giant bones? Holy crap.
They want people to be Christians.
All right, man. All right, man.
There's been all kinds of things proving there's giants.
Stacy's dumb. I don't know who's dumber, Stacy or Run Boston Bear. Let's find out.
All over the world, there's lore and myth,
Lore is not evidence. Myth is not evidence.
which we know are based on not just fairy tale fluff.
Oh, but lore and myth, you know, are not based on fairy tale fluff? What is lore and myth based on? Fairy tale fluff. Lore is not evidence. But she's like, oh, it's evidence.
There's reasons that there's myth.
It's biblical, right? It's Nephilim, right?
It doesn't have to be biblical. There's tons of...
There's tons of. There's tons of. It doesn't have to be biblical. There's tons of. There's tons of nothing.
Yeah, basing your whole entire belief system on only one book and one book alone, to me, is kind of iffy. I understand that.
He has a bias against the Bible.
Hey, hold on. I gave you the courtesy of listening to what you said, and I would like a little bit of the same respect.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. So, if you base every single thing you believe on just the Bible alone, I want to know if you actually also believe that. I mean, do you? Is that what you're saying?
No, he said the opposite of that.
The opposite. Okay. Because I think that is a fallacy in and of itself, to believe only one book is the ultimate whatever on everything. So to say that.
And to tell that to the biblical flat earthers.
There was giants here or giants there because this book says or doesn't say it. There's lots of evidence. There's lots of things. I grew up looking at evidence, hard evidence, pictures of evidence, newspaper articles that showed pictures.
Yeah, I think the elite are dropping these things.
Oh, don't interrupt. I want to hear what this evidence is that she looked at.
I kind of give her a little bit more time and let her get it out. Give her a little more time, let her say what she's trying to say.
This was decades ago. There's also a lot of, like I said, the lore. We have stories of Admiral Byrd going beyond the ice wall.
Oh my gosh. Like, flat earthers hate to actually get anything correct. Admiral Byrd went past the South Pole and saw an area as large as the United States on the other side of the South Pole. Yep, there is an area in Antarctica the size of the United States on the other side of the South Pole from where they started. That's how big Antarctica is. He did not say ice wall, but flat earthers, in their myth and lore and religious dogma, have swapped South Pole for ice wall. He never said that. Flat earthers lie.
And I think that the stories like Gulliver's Travels are not fantasy. I think that they're actually closer to documentation.
Why? Because they fit your pre-selected conclusion. That's why. Not because there is anything evidential about it.
Then a lot of people want to give them credit for. There's nothing, and this does tie in, there's nothing about dinosaurs before 18-something, but the stories of giants go back as far as there's been humanity. There's evidence of giants. People have found giants on every continent on the plane.
On every continent on the plane. Oh, she sounds so dumb. What an absolute ditz.
Or the planet, which the base of planet is plane. There's no evidence of dinosaurs, but they want us to believe that dinosaurs are real and that
there's actually evidence for dinosaurs and no evidence for giants. Everything flat earthers do is just flipped.
Big people are false. We have buildings that are built to the scale of larger people than we are. There's no
maybe they built the buildings so that the dinosaurs could get in.
Reason for us to build buildings that have doors 10 times larger than we are at all. So when I look at hard evidence,
That's not hard evidence. That's the opposite of hard evidence. That's the diarrhea evidence.
I see evidence for giants and I see none for dinosaurs. I'm just using that as a contrast.
Okay.
So I think that there's a lot. Yes, people want us to
Max says, I retract my previous statement. I can't fix her.
believe the elites or whoever want us to believe a lot of things, and they want us to not believe a lot of things. Absolutely. And we should question
Big doors but small toilets. Poor giants.
all of them. They also want us to believe that there's an invisible boogeyman that's going to jump out and nab us if we don't take pharmaceuticals from the
Oh my gosh.
from the first.
Do you understand?
Go get yourself a case of polio, Stacy.
Fast. Run Boston has his hand up. I just want to clarify for everyone.
Wait. Icy Spins is this that lady from the Discord server that peed in the sink? I have no idea. Is this is my guess is this is the same Stacy that's common on Discord. Probably. I've not seen her on Discord. Like people generally in Discord don't go on camera, so I right. So you just and I don't recognize her voice, so I don't know.
I want everyone, if they're like, I want multiple people to have talk and like have conversations, and I don't necessarily want this to turn into like, I'm not trying to debate the globe Earth right now either, right? Because like I just had a debate. It's a debate after show. I'm not trying to. It's like a VIP hangout, not like an argue about stuff type of thing. I'm just gonna say that. Like that's kind of the idea, is to have fun and chill and have good vibes, and not like have to argue and debate about things. Like that's not really the idea. Run Boston, you have your hand up, bro.
Amen.
All right. So we heard how dumb Stacy is. Now, is Run Boston Bear about to out dumb Stacy? Here we go.
All I was going to say to David is, you said you were a flat earther and you went back to the globe. And so what I wanted to say is, I think going to like the AE mapped version of flat earth is incorrect just as much as going to a mapped modeled earth. I think.
But you need a map and model. You make a claim, you have the burden of proof to provide the evidence for that claim, which requires a model. This is the whole thing about modern flat, where they've brought themselves to is helping to teach each other how not to ever say anything that would suggest that they'd need to have evidence for their claim. That's their whole point. That's what they try to do. They sit around a Discord all day long, teaching each other how to not do anything to support the flat earth.
And I'm not saying I'm not a flat earther. What I'm saying is the evidence shows that we live on a stationary topographical plane.
What evidence? Yes, there's your model. You just said it. You just gave a model. A stationary topical plane. That requires evidence. But you don't have that evidence. Right? What they think is evidence is, I tried to look for curve and didn't find it. That's what they think evidence for flat is. But that's not, number one, they didn't do a good job. And number two, that's not evidence for flat.
What is it exactly? Witsit mentioned in the debate. He said, I don't think that we can map it, or I don't think we can know. That's what is the trouble here is, as human beings, we want to know, but where I'm residing right now is there's probably a lot of things that we can't understand with our mind. And, but basically,
I believe Run Boston Bear has a lot of things he can't understand. I believe him 100%. There's a lot of things that idiot doesn't understand. Yep. Let's see. Steve Wilson asked, do I have a P.O. box? I do. I'll put it here. I think I have it on my website, but there it is. 770 Golden Valley Road, P.O. Box 270916, Minneapolis, Minnesota 55427. If you're going to send something that won't that's bigger than like a letter, let me know, because they hold things, because it won't go in the mailbox, and they hold things for only a certain amount of time before they send it back. So if you send me a package and it won't go in the box, then, and the box is just a regular letter size box, so if it can be crushed, like they'll crush it and jam it in. But if it's something larger, then yeah, you got to let me know. And so email me and let me know it's coming. So, oh yes, that was Rhonda. Hold on. Where's? Yes, it was Rhonda. I've been trying to get.
I'm in the kitchen.
Are you peeing in the kitchen?
That is hilarious.
Wait, don't pee in the kitchen, Rhonda. Oh my gosh, your husband's good. Does he know you piss in the kitchen?
I'm in the kitchen.
Are you peeing in the kitchen?
That is.
Yes, I've been trying to get Rhonda to come back on, but she just doesn't. She doesn't want to. I don't know why.
Basically, what we're talking about is what is reality? What is real? What is really out there? And my heart of heart says it's not a spinning, wobbling, corkscrewing, globular planet going around.
Don't care about your heart. Care about evidence.
The sun. That's not true. And then if you're like, yeah, bro, but prove flat Earth to me. Is it the AE model? I'm like, no, it's not that either. It's not a map. We don't live on a map. We live in reality. And I think that the water.
But the reality is that the Earth is curving, and it's measurable, and there's evidence for it. Every single time that we actually test to do a good job testing, we find that the Earth is curving.
Shows us that it's level. I think that the Earth only moves during earthquakes and landslides. That's the only time it's moving. Right now, I'm not moving 1.9 million miles per 24 hours. This is a very stationary position or situation I'm in right now. But I'm not trying to argue you back over to flat Earth. I just wanted you to see that AE model flat Earth and globe are both these like things that humans want to grasp and hold and say this must be what it is. But what about if it's we can't understand the vastness of this place?
Run Boston Bear, yes, I agree. You cannot understand the vastness of this place. You're not tall enough to ride. But people have figured it out. And the fact that there's 100,000 flights a day that all use the globe tells us that we've figured it out pretty stinking well. If you didn't think that the navigator and the pilot had the Earth figured out well enough, you would not get on an airplane. You wouldn't. You're trusting your life to somebody that needs to know what the shape is of the Earth and where the land masses are and how big the big things are and the distances between points. All of that is an absolute necessity to get on an airplane where if things don't work, you don't make it. If they don't know the distance between points, how much fuel do they put in? No idea. If they don't know the direction and the map, understanding cartography helps you to understand the direction you need to go. If they don't know that, how could you possibly get to where you're going? The fact that anybody gets on an airplane tells us that they trust the Earth is a globe. If you don't trust that the Earth is a globe, you better not be getting on an airplane because they use the globe. There are no pilots that use flat Earth charts. This is never used to chart a flight. And this is never used to chart a flight. Only the globe is.
The intricacies, the beauty, how it actually operates with the ether and everything. What if we're supposed to jive in it, connect with each other, love each other, and connect, not disconnect? And running to the globe and grasping onto it, that might be a disconnection point where we could stay chill and try to figure out where we actually live.
Yeah, he's dumber than Stacy.
Which I think FE folks that are not toxic help people to move towards that. But I don't know. That may have been some rambling, but that's what I wanted to say.
I hear you. JT, can I tag on after that? I just wanted to say, David, you even said at the start of this right there, you said, oh, well, yeah, gravity would have to work. And, I'd like to say that I don't really, I think there's a lot of problems with gravity, and I would just be in the camp that would say that. And you even said to me, you were like, what? Like, you're still flat? Like, yeah, I just honestly see it as the more inquisitive side. The other side has their tactics and how they do stuff. The Antarctica thing was interesting. Let's talk about it. I mean, it's nothing but progress, and I see no benefit to publicly saying globe just to get those fucking people happy. I've been confused by that the whole time. I see no benefit to going back to the globe, quote unquote, because you even said gravity would have to exist. Like, okay,
well, good thing it does.
Okay, I got a bunch of problems where I'm nowhere near it.
Yeah, but all right, gravity would have to exist if you're living on a sphere, obviously, because you have to be sticking to it. But why do you have problems with gravity? Because there's like anomalies out in the Kuma cluster that are far away from us. That's like there's gravitational problems so far away that you have a problem with the gravity that's local here.
Well, it doesn't work. It doesn't even work locally. It doesn't work.
Okay, this I don't understand what Witsit's about to say. I do not know the citation. I don't know where he's coming from on this.
Work on this on the local scale in a lab on the Earth. Not even close. It's off by hundreds of thousands of percent.
In the lab, he says it's off by hundreds of thousands of percent. How? What the hell are you talking about, Austin? Gravity is not off by hundreds of thousands of percent in the lab. You absolute moron. Gravity doesn't work locally. Again, it's incumbent on you to explain it on flat Earth, right? Replacement, falsification is independent replacement, but you're claiming a replacement. When you claim the replacement, you have to provide the replacement. If your only point, Austin, if your only point, flat earthers, if your only point is Earth, not globe, then you're not a flat earther. You're a ignorant earther. You don't know what the shape is. Fine. Shout from the rooftops that you're ignorant. Be proud. Beat your chest that you're ignorant. I agree with you. You're ignorant. But if you say the Earth is flat, now you need to replace. You claim to not be ignorant. You claim to know. You claim to be woke. You know they're all idiots and you're the smart one. You need to provide how it works. Everything that the globe provides, you need to provide, but the same or better. We need the downward acceleration. It's not optional. It happens. You need to provide a better mechanism. We need navigation. It has to be same or better. We need time of sunset, angle of sunset, what keeps the sun up, the actual mechanism that causes the sun to not change in angular size throughout the day, right? All of these things you got to provide. You can't just say, I don't need to, right? You need to actually, put on your big boy pants, DJ1 deck says nice elevation angles from the snow, mate, and then made a claim about measured flat. Now here's the problem. Flatties. I've heard flatties make that claim, but I've never seen them actually provide the geometry for it. So I'm gonna be wondering about that. So you can make that claim and embarrass yourself all day long, or you can show the geometry after you make the claim and I guess embarrass me. Good luck with that. So right here, this guy right there. So I just, I know you're just an idiot that's not smart enough to actually come up with your own thoughts, and that you were informed by Oakley what you are supposed to think, and you mindlessly accepted what you were supposed to think from Oakley because you're easily indoctrinated. And so when I say, can you provide the measurements? I know You cannot provide the geometry, you cannot provide the measurements for it because Oakley didn't give you that information. And you can't go any farther than that. So you're a little, I know you're a little bit outside here. You're like, oh crap, what am I doing in here? You need Oakley to tell you what to think. So, anyway, yeah, I'd love to hear your comeback to that one.
And we don't even use it in the standard model of the universe.
Newtonian dynamics is perfectly inside.
Of course, we do use gravity. We use Newtonian gravity in the standard model of the universe. Silly.
Or system.
No. It doesn't even work in a lab on the Earth, right? Like that's why they say that the quantum world is totally separated from gravity. Just like when the most precise measurements that we have of observations on the Earth, like in quantum mechanics, doesn't match gravity at all. Doesn't get anywhere close to it. Where they claim that there's mass, there's no gravity, blah blah blah. This is my issue with this whole thing, right? Okay, for one, if someone goes,
and you have a better explanation for, oh no, you're not the guy that provides explanations. You're just the guy that says, I don't believe it because personal incredulity.
The globe, I'm not even compelled to try to convince them not to do it, like literally. But if someone goes back to the globe, they're very motivated to try to come tell us that we need to leave.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like the whole thing that's weird. It's like, no.
Oh no, see, I don't, here's the thing. I don't want Witsit to leave, right? For all the reasons mentioned earlier about on his X profile and all that. No. Austin and Oakley and Quantum Eraser and, the toxic flatties, I never want them to leave. I want them to walk around with a tattoo on their forehead that says asshole for the rest of their life. And that's what Flat Earth is. It's a tattoo on your forehead saying that you're dumb and that you're a horrible person for those people, right? There's a handful that maybe aren't horrible people. So, anyway, let's see. Did we get? No, we didn't. Nothing. We don't have the geometry yet. Oh, no surprise.
Oh, bro, if someone can get a taste of all of the lies that we've discovered, the MMX, the Aries failure, Michelson, Gell, Pearson, all of these lies, every lie about Einstein, like all the stuff about Einstein was just a lie. And they claimed that they saw a star behind a solar eclipse and they actually faked it. And, 30 of the 33 plates didn't show it. And then the 3 that supposedly did disappeared. And
he's on a roll here, right? So it wasn't a, well, let me see here. Here we go. So it wasn't so he's talking about Eddington, 1919, measuring the gravitational lensing of the sun during an eclipse, right? And here is the plate. One of the plates. This is a copy of the original. The original we don't have anymore. It sometimes you get that, especially with the older stuff. The original plate wasn't stored anywhere, and after Eddington passed away and it got moved around to different people. Oh, okay. It got moved around and the plate got lost and maybe was thrown away. Don't know. But here's a copy of it right here. So there it is. And so it wasn't a star behind the sun. It was a star shifting in position near the sun. Right? That's what it was. And they didn't lie about it. So, right? Now, he said they lied. He didn't provide evidence for the lie. But here's the thing. In science, you don't just do an experiment once. You repeat the experiment. And it has been repeated. So 1919, Eddington did it. In 1922, it was done again. I'll give you the link to this here. 1923, 1950, 1960, 1972. So it was done every eclipse. It was tried up through 1972. And at 1972, they stopped. Until 2017, when it was done again. And in 2017, it was a pretty cool one there. Go read that one if you're really good. That's super well done. So here's, another article on an article on the eclipse from 1922, but these are pretty good, and that was the limit of the technology at the time to take photographs of the stars and their shift. But there are other methods that people have developed over time. And so here's relativistic deflection of radio signals in the solar gravitational field measured with very long baseline interferometry. So, oh, we got a kitty. What are you doing up? Oh my goodness, it's so late.
I was hanging out with the dogs.
There you go. There's Raccoon. Hello, Raccoon. Good little kitty. Whoa. There she goes.
Wait, the garage is open.
Yep. Don't let her up there.
Let's go in there.
Okay, thank you. Max says, I love when Witsit does lieception, when he lies about other people lying. Yeah. So anyway, so here's one. This is what's cool. Let me bring it up here. So in these papers here, they use gamma for the amount of deflection that is supposed to happen, depending on how far away from the limb of the sun. And if it's exactly one is meaning that they got it spot on. And so it'd be unusual to have an exact value of 1. You know, when you measure things in real life, measurements are never perfect. But here, this is gamma equals 1.008 plus or minus 0.005. So there you go. Solid. 1.0 is the predicted amount, is what that means. So if you read these papers, that's what they're talking about. Here, 0.9996 plus or minus 0.0017, right? More precision 11 years later. And they keep improving it. And here, this one, the number had to be written differently. It's so small. Here we go, right? All of these. Better and better and better measurements. How did that happen? How did it happen that the measurements were done over and over again and they got better? Amazing. I have, let's see. I have a Google Sheets of this. I think, let me see if I can find it quick. And the is really cool stuff, because the eclipse deflection summary, is that it? There we go. There it is. Okay. Share. Copy link. Let me get this prep for you. All right. Here is, so I put in the values for the shift from Eddington. And here's the measurements, the star IDs, and the distance in solar radii of the star. The deflection in arc seconds. Einstein's prediction of the deflection there. And then degrees, arc seconds, and then the difference between the measured and the predicted in arc seconds. And then part of it was also there's a Newtonian prediction, and they tested that as well. So there's a difference. Anyway, so the chart is really the interesting thing here. This line on the chart is the prediction. So you can see there, the bottom is solar radii. So how far the star is away from the limb of the sun. So 1 is the limb of the sun. So if it's behind the sun, it would be on the left side of that chart, which we don't have. Because when you get super close to the sun, even then it's hard to see it. So And so at 2 radii from the sun, you see these 2 stars were deflected by about 1 arcsecond, as predicted by Einstein. And here is the one from Bruns, and I don't know why the line is missing, but this is the one from 2017. So there you go. I don't know why the line is missing though. I need to update that. So there you go. It matched. And like, they lied about it. You got evidence of that? No, you just want it to be a lie, so you say it is. Because liception.
Story is a lie. And we look into all the evidence that shows clearly that the earth is not moving, but they had to hide it because it has philosophical implications, all this. To me, to just like somehow, this is the danger of the globe. And this is like just in a meta philosophical way, one of the big.
So he just rambled all this stuff off. All of that stuff was wrong, right? It's just all, right? The Michelson-Morley, Sagnac effect, all that presumes that the ether exists. But what does Austin say about the ether? Has the ether been empirically verified? Is ether science?
Ether's not science.
That's right. Ether's not science. And it's amazing that he says this.
Ether is an immaterial background medium of pure potential. It cannot be quantified or measured intrinsically.
And then actually claims, does all these things based on the existence of ether. He has said ether is not science. It is purely a religious claim for him. How does the ether exist? He doesn't have any way to confirm its existence. He just needs it to exist, and so he wishes it into existence. That's it.
Piece of evidence for me that just like, it definitely just isn't true. And this isn't why I don't believe in the globe. It's the actual evidence. But it's like, look what it does to people. Look what it's starting to do to you. It's doing to Jiren. People just immediately take their brain back out of their head and hand it over to whatever must be the case. Oh, well, then gravity must exist. Well, then
ether must exist. That's Austin's position here. There's evidence for gravity. Gravity is science. It has been quantified. Ether has not been quantified. You said so yourself. Who is the one that is handing over their brain to just take whatever somebody else says? That's you, Austin. That's your followers, Austin. That's your gullible people that just gobble up the BS you're spewing.
Must be refracted. Well, then this must be how it works. And it makes sense. It must be spinning, right? Oh, it must be. Well, the stars must be an unimaginable distance away. Flat earthers are not doing that. There are flat earthers that are.
Of course they're not. They don't like empirical evidence.
That are tripping, right? But the vast majority of quote unquote flat earth is we suspended the belief of the globe. This place is way deeper than they said. It's like an etheric realm, and we're just trying to figure stuff out. I'm not going to jump back on into making beliefs. And if any belief I hold requires me to say, well, this must be true.
You just said that. Ether must be true for all of these things. You're a hypocrite.
This ridiculous, fantastical claim I can't even understand and have no proof of, it must be true. Because this other thing I now believe says it's true, so it must be true. That is
the hypocrisy.
Such a dangerous place to be. And the other thing I'll say is, like, think about, just got to address this, is not really on the topic I just talked about, but look at the giants. Like, they want us to believe in the Bible, and that's why they're pushing the giants. That's the opposite of what happened, right? Like, there were tons of giant remains, and all kinds of newspaper articles in America wrote about it. Abraham Lincoln has a quote about it. It was just like a well-known established fact that there were giants. Like, people that claim
it was just a well-known established fact that there were giants. It was just a well-known established fact. That's it. Yeah, it's just a well-known established fact. Abraham Lincoln even had a quote about it. It's just a well-known established fact. Wait a second, Austin. What is it called when you have a it's just a well-known established fact? What do you call that? What do you call that, Austin? Bandwagon fallacy. That's it. It's appeal to popularity. When Austin does his debates and he lists out the fallacies, he's telling people the fallacies he's going to use. Icy Spin says, Austin just said something to the effect of, this goes deeper than we thought, so Flat Earth has to be true and is unfalsifiable. Got it. Yeah. That's it. That's... And Run Boston Bear said essentially the same thing. Flat Earth is so much bigger than the shape of the Earth. Really? Yeah, it is, because once you fall for the Flat Earth lie, you're gullible and you'll fall for other lies. So yes, it is. Siggy Sigwald says, when will the Flat Earth is the only idea that can't be Steelmanned t-shirt to hit the Toon store? I haven't made that yet, but I wrote it down now. The ones we had the other day, I didn't write down. I know we had one that was Lake Titicaca outline with my name in it. There you go. Wrote that down too. Jay Donashi says, do you have a P.O. box so people can send you stuff? I sent that. I'll send it again though. Case. And I will double check that it's on my website. There you go. I think it's in... Did I put it in my description of my videos? Nope, I didn't. I thought I did, and I might have just taken it out. Siggy says, again, it breaks my heart a bit to see how much Witsit desperately tries to present himself as everything he's not. Important, intelligent, knowledgeable, tall. Somebody asked, how tall is he? He's not particularly tall. He's maybe 6 feet, 6'1", I don't know. But he didn't strike me as particularly tall. Siggy Sigwald says, Witsit needs it, so he wishes it. That's art. Derek the Dullard says he's such a crybaby. Wah, pathetic. Oh yeah, he is. All right. I think there's just a bit left.
That their ancestors saw them, interacted with them all around the world, nothing to do with the Bible. And then what happened was they came in and made up a new story to hide that and specifically counter the Bible, or not even just the Bible, anything that made any similar claims, that the earth was young, that there were giants, that there is a creator, all of that. It wasn't just the Bible. Take the Bible out of it. There's the book of giants. There's entire stories all around the world of that. They did the opposite of what you're saying. Like you're saying, I think that they're planting things to make people think the Bible's true. They did the opposite.
They're so gullible that they flipped everything, right? The evidence for dinosaurs, nah. Evidence for giants, yeah. Take any crap,
bro. They came in, they took the bones that had human anatomical qualities, and they said, "Oh, these are dinosaurs. Trust me, you can't have them. They're dangerous." And then they said everything.
Trust me, you can't have them. They're dangerous. Nobody said that about dinosaur bones. Nobody said that. They're fragile. So if you want to examine them, you can, but not just any old idiot.
Things billions of years old. So I think what I made that point is to elucidate my bigger point here, which is like, I think you don't need to be as impulsive or as extreme into jumping back into any type of beliefs. If you're confused about flat earth, it doesn't resonate, or doesn't fully make sense to you now, or you're like, whoa, maybe the globe is true. Like, dude, just sit there and like sit in the truth and be comfortable not knowing for a second. Because like now what I see Jiren is like, he has to know now. So now that it's like, it must be a globe. Everything else is going out the window for him. And that is a super dangerous place to be, bro. It's a super dangerous place to be, because I can tell you right now, and last thing, I'll stop ranting.
For all of his talk about, I don't care if people leave flat earth, I'm not going to try to get them back. My goodness, is he desperate? You hear the desperation here?
None of these people that think the earth's a globe, whether they used to be flat earth or not, can sit down with me in a controlled environment with legitimate...
I can. Whatever you're about to say, Austin, I can.
Debate Aries failure and debate Michelson Morley. Not a physicist on this earth, not a physicist on the entire earth can debate any people in ether cosmology about Aries failure and Michelson Morley.
The ego, the misplaced hubris. Oh my gosh. Not a single physicist, because you guys are so much smarter than all the physicists on the planet.
Not one on the Earth, because it just definitively, factually proved the Earth wasn't moving. And it was.
If you presume the ether, which isn't science, exists. Maybe. Not really. Step 1, prove the ether. But you can't, by your own admission, prove the ether.
And it was hidden. And what I see now is these people that are going back to the globe, they're like, oh, well, yeah, I can't really argue that. It's above me, but who cares?
Yeah, so humble. It's hard to believe how humble he is. Hold on. Do I have? I think I have humbly. Oh no, I don't. But I have this.
And unfortunately for all the Globers, we've actually completely mapped out celestial navigation and all the exact math that works and matches reality perfectly on the entire Earth at any location, including any position of the stars, the sun, and or the moon, based on your geographic position. So it's going to be a rough next couple weeks and following year for you guys, because we literally have the exact perfect math to explain all of it.
Which would require a model.
We don't throw out 95% of evidence because there's 1 or 2 or 10 outliers that we don't know how to currently explain.
That's the only thing they do. Ace SW says, has Witsit already moved the goalposts? It was a bit fast. He might be in violation of the laws of physics with how fast he was going. Oh yeah.
And they're just what they're doing now, instead of being these people that are like on fire and passionate about the truth and let's figure it out and let's call out the system or whatever. We don't have to know. Stop telling us we have to believe things because we have to have answers. No, we're trying to discover it. We don't have to.
You have to have answers. You claimed you had answers, right? You have to have them, and you claimed you have them, but you don't have them.
No, we're truthers. They're turning into the very thing that they broke away from. It's crazy where they're just like, oh, I don't know. I don't really think about that. Now all of a sudden Jiren is on a stream saying he doesn't really care. It's not important if the Earth is moving or not. It isn't important. After he sat here and talked for 5 and 6 hours on like 13 different streams about how incredibly important it is that the Earth is not moving because it means the Earth's in the center and changes everything. Now it's insignificant and doesn't matter at all. So people should should wake up and step aside. There's like some cultish behavior in some of Flat Earth and it got exposed, and I'm thankful for that.
There's some cultish behavior in Flat Earth, says the guy that is the embodiment of cultish behavior. And I'm glad we got rid of it. No, you're still in Flat Earth.
This other side of thought is the definition of a cult. It's like, bro, I don't know. Tell me what to think, daddy. You know, like that's insane to me. So I know that was a rant, but dude, I just like, dude, just save yourself. Don't worry about what other people think. Don't jump to extreme conclusions. And I'm not trying to win you back over. I'm saying, dude, you should definitely not.
He's so hard trying to win him back over.
Go that route because it has pretty dangerous implications. It literally removes your ability to logically and intuitively understand this realm. And like, you're not even gonna like be in tune with the truth of who you are and where you are and why you're here. You know, like that's what I would say. I know it was a lot, but
oh my gosh, how aggressively is he trying to get him back in? So desperate. Let me see here. What is? Okay, he talks about. Okay, he gives coming up here what he thinks is the actual test.
Hey, Austin, I got a question for the panel. I don't know if it's kind of.
Can I respond?
Austin, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Well, if real fast, David, if you want to respond real quick, 'cause I just said that to him. Just kind of try to keep it somewhat concise.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. When it comes to Aries failure and all the things like that, and like the interferometry and maybe some Morley, like I haven't created the devices to know for sure that these things would work how they're supposed to work if the Earth was moving or not. So to me, it's like if I can find out for sure that we live on a sphere by navigating it, then I can use Occam's razor that, oh, it would be easier that we're spinning super slow for the sun to be going around us rather than the sun shooting around us at crazy speeds. Or, it would make more sense for all the stars that are so far away for them all to be heliocentric rather than them shooting all the way around the Earth, stars that are trillions of miles away at insane speeds. Like Occam's razor would just
trillions of miles away.
It's probably heliocentric. Well, all right, if the Earth is a sphere, the sun has to be infinitely far away. Right?
I'll just say this. I just don't want to.
But they all got triggered. Not infinitely far away. Very far away. But man, none of them, they're stumbling all over themselves.
It's not familiar, but it's got to be far.
I don't want to turn into a debate anymore. I'll just let you know, bro. All these people that went over back to the globe, they can line up, and I will dice them all up in debate, just like I was before.
Humbly.
We went to Antarctica. It's because it's incredibly fallacious. It's incredibly fallacious. It's light work. The arguments you're making, and I say this respectfully, are laughably fallacious and very easy to refute. Right? You're just saying it must be this way. It's easier to comprehend, so you're appealing to your own personal convenience, your own personal credulity. It's like
it's Occam's razor.
No, it's not Occam's razor.
The least
Occam's
amount of
razor is
assumptions.
that which requires the least amount of assumptions
Yeah,
is most likely to be true. So for one,
that's not Occam's razor. That's not Occam's razor. Let me read it again. When we have two competing theories that make exactly same predictions, the simpler one is the better. You didn't make any predictions, Austin. Your model doesn't make predictions. You don't get to play the Occam's razor game until after the predictions are made. Right? So step one. Step one. Make predictions using your model. Step two, your predictions are the same as the globe predictions. Step three, which one requires the least assumptions? That's Occam's razor. That's how you get to play the game Occam's razor. You didn't do that. You don't have any predictions. You've said you don't have a model. You've also said you have a model. Very confused. All right, I got it. I got it. Really? Well, but you don't have a model. Which one is it? Oh, like ether. Devoid of empirical verifiable evidence, right? What did you say about it? Cannot be quantified or measured. So it's a religion. That's your words. Yep. Anyway, all of this just makes me think. I completely agree. Yeah. I know. I do that a lot. I do. It's one of my favorite things. Anyway, you know what? I don't care. I don't care what he's going to say that gyroscope's the thing. They need to get a gyroscope on a plane. I hope they do. I hope they do. I hope they get a gyroscope on a plane and then watch it, because you know we know what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen. Oh, you didn't have any sound. Oh my gosh. Hold on. It was so good. I'm sure I sounded silly talking to myself. Dang it. I'm not going to do the whole thing over again. But here we go.
I'm a stupid flat earther, right? And I'm just a loser.
There you go. Okay. We'll get, I'll do the ether stuff. There you go.
Our model, although not even specifically claimed or defined, is far superior to yours because it's limited and falsified.
Yeah. What model?
We don't have a model.
That's right.
Wow, bro, you just made me look ridiculous.
I know. I love doing that.
Flat earthers are just ignorant.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so Austin, tell us about what is a religion? This is a good question.
What do you mean by religion? A belief system built upon the doctrine of men, void of empirical verifiable evidence.
Yes. And now tell us about the ether.
Ether is an immaterial background medium of pure potential. It cannot be quantified or measured intrinsically.
So it's a religion. Got it. It's all a religion. No surprise there. All right. Anyway, he goes to talk about gyroscopes, but I'm not gonna play it. It's just him. We're done with the part of where David was talking to him. So David, good job. Good job. You got him. You got him all excited. You tied him up a bit. He couldn't answer the question. He did his typical running away. He talks about a model, but then says he doesn't have a model. Says he doesn't need a model. Then he talks about a model. Says we're just trying to figure it out. You mean you're trying to build a model? That's what you. We don't need a model, but you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to get a model. Which one is it? So, anyway, hey Penguin, don't go in the garage, Penguin. There you go. All right, we got some couple super chats here. We got Ice Solder 74 says, well, they have to be the center of attention. Everything has to be about them. Most of these anti-vaxxers never lived through polio. It'd be terrible. It'd be terrible. Clems says, I need these streams on Flat Earth when I'm feeling depressed. They make me feel superior when I'm most definitely not. Yeah, just always, it doesn't matter how bad life is. It doesn't matter how sad you might be, how, things might not be going well. You might, take a test or have something at work that's difficult and you can't figure out. The test may not have gone well, but always take heart. You're not as dumb as a flat earther. I mean, think about it. Think about living your life as a flat earther, how challenging it would be. Like everything is magic to you, right? How do lights turn on and off? Magic. That switch there on the wall, but how does that do it? Well, there's wires that connect it from the switch to the light, but I don't see the wires. Oh, they're in the wall. Where? In the wall. I don't see them. So, oh my goodness. Right? That stuff. Things like, flat earthers, don't eat the chunks in the litter box. But why not? They're not food. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure they're not food. Don't eat the chunks in the litter box. Ugh, they're not for you. They're for Dave, allegedly. iSolder74 says, make him visit the wall at Dinosaur National Monument. And they just stand there and say, fake, 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 fake. But giants are real. Totally in for the giants. Icy Spin sent $1, which is what you get. If you hit $1, I'll play some soundboard clips. And he did. So Real Cygnus says, call Witless a very bad word of your choice. He is a cotton-headed ninny muggins. Oh yeah, I said it. I went there. So somebody asked me what time it is. It's 1:47, almost my bedtime. So tomorrow night, I'm planning on doing a live stream. I got some hot Flerf on Flerf action that I got. It's good stuff. I love hearing them yell at each other. It's super good. So that's tomorrow. But tonight, to wrap it up, you know how humble he is. So humble, isn't he? I mean, how many people got beat in that debate humbly? So everybody did. So let me get these in and tell you what, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining.
Use Witsit, gets it, step into the mic, bro. Talking flat earth, get ready for the hype, bro. Aced algebra in school, honors too, bro. Gravity's a lie, yeah, I'm in the zone, bro. Electrostatics, that's the real deal, bro. They say the earth's a globe, but that ain't right, bro. I'm the best flat earth debater, bro. Humbly, opposition ain't on my level, so, but let's not get too technical, bro. This is so funny, you're getting crushed, bro. I'm schooling you, bro. You are literally losing the debate, bro. You are so out of your league, bro. This is so funny, you're getting crushed, bro. I'm schooling you, bro. You are literally losing the debate, bro. You are so out of your league, bro. in full, bro. It's superior, your model's falsified, bro. Van de Graaff generator, electrostatics a maze, bro. May objects change weight, just a phase, bro. 100 volts per meter electric field, you know, bro. Flipped it with 400,000 volts, whoa. Small bits loaded, defying gravity like totally, bro. Next I'll rub a cat to a brick the show, bro. This is so funny, you're getting crushed, bro. I'm schooling you, bro. You are literally losing the debate, bro. You are so out of your league, bro. This is so funny, you're getting crushed, bro. I'm schooling you, bro. You are literally losing the debate, bro. You are so out of your league, bro. MCToon and Globers, you can't deny, bro. Witsit gets it's here to testify, bro. Most times I don't remember you exist, yo. I'm the flat earth king, you better believe it's so. Moon phases are like a magnetic cycle, bro. Center of a ferrocell, image magnets glow, bro. Charge up and down, etherically displaced, yo. Kinematic equivalence explains it all somehow, bro. It might sound tough, but let's skip details, yo. You might believe I have an amplitude for math, ho. It's all just a lot of salad in my words, yo. This is so funny, you're getting crushed, bro. I'm schooling you, bro. You are literally losing the debate, bro. You are so out of your league, bro. This is so funny, you're getting crushed, bro. I'm schooling you, bro. You are literally losing the debate, bro. You are so out of your league, bro. And what happened is they brought in Einstein to totally save the physics redefined, to flip physics all on its head, bro. To keep Earth moving around the sun, you know. And in the magnetic tourist field, I say the path of planets fits perfectly. This is so funny, you're getting crushed, bro. I'm schooling you, bro. You are literally losing the debate, bro. You are so out of your league, bro. This is so funny, you're getting crushed, bro. I'm schooling you, bro. You are literally losing the debate, bro. You are so out of your league, bro. If this debate was a rap battle, I would have totally won, bro.